Something like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show, weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
Agreement by which we can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillar. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right
to live? Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media, and you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead and hit that like button, because you already know what time it is, and you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You've seen other people do it well. But what you have not seen is anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button. And everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this. And it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content out. Share it through your social media. Share it through word of mouth, or even text someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, today we are here. Another great episode that we're about to do. We're going to be dealing with more to Michigan's head coach story, y'all. There's more to Michigan's head coach story, y'all. And we're going to deal with a gentleman who looks like they're about to do everything they can to bury this man. Okay, look like they're about to do everything they can to bury this man. But before we go into this, first of all, I want to say shout out to everybody who gives me, views on a regular basis, man. I really appreciate all y'all. Appreciate all y'all for what you do. Shout out to everyone who hits the like button at any point on the stream, y'all. You can hit it before, you can hit it during, you can hit it after, but make sure you hit that like button. It does help with the algorithm and everything. Shout out to everybody who hypes me up every chance you get. Just might as well hype a brother up every chance you get. Might as well get that out the way. And shout out to everybody who leaves comments after the stream. All these things help a lot with the algorithm, and you help the system spread the Roger Report Live around just a little bit better. And that's good for all of us at the end of the day. That is good for all of us. So shout out to everyone, and shout out to the people who go above and beyond the call of duty and actually become financial contributors of the stream. And that's what I'm gonna say. Your special shout out goes to Cameron too. Shout out goes to Cameron too. He is the sponsor of today's stream. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. And we about to get into this, y'all. We got a heck of a show today, y'all. Sharon, I don't know exactly how you're supposed to pronounce it, but Sharon Moore. He was the head coach, for the Michigan Wolverines, y'all. He was the head coach down in Michigan. All right. Man had a nice job. Got to get a really, really, really nice payday. And he done messed around and got himself in a situation where it ain't gonna go down the way he wanted it to. This was a guy who ended up replacing Jim Harbaugh. Okay, he's great positioning, great positioning going on, but things ain't gonna work out quite right because it has come to people's understanding. Oh, you know what? Before I even get into this, y'all, I ain't even saying nothing about my folks in the chat. Because y'all know it's great that when you start a show that you get some people that actually in the chat and they rocking with you and they let it be known that they there, y'all, because I do appreciate that. So let me first of all give a couple shout outs to some of the first people to check in. And y'all know how I go over here at the Roger Report Live. If you've been here for a while, you know there can only be one. And that one today is my main man, the Great Black Reset. He is what we like to call around here the Highlander of today's stream. So shout out to you, my brother. Shout out to you. Glad to see you in the building. Glad to see you in the building. We got Bruce on Wayne also is in the house. Great to see you, brother. Great to see you. Always good to have you on board. We got my main man who helps keep the order around here, y'all. The one, the only, Chef Mike's Roundtable. Glad to have you here, my brother. Glad to have you here. And shout out to the entire pit crew. And that's real talk, y'all. Shout out to the entire pit crew. They help get the thing going the way things need to be going and help keep us in line even when we playing too much, y'all. And we need somebody like that. We need folks like that. All right. Shout out to my main man, Red Pill Sleeper Cell. Good to have you in the building, my brother. Good to have you. We got Boot Camp in the building. What's happening, my brother? What's happening? We got Trail Bentley in the house representing as he always does. Hashtag long live the habitual line steppers. Hashtag Negroes in the wilderness. Hashtag dignity over vagina. Hashtag Al Gore's baby. And hashtag Hell Hydra. Shout out to you, my brother. Shout out to you. My man Floyd Thompson is here. Yay, yay. Good to have you, brother. Good to have you. We got Tunnel running in the house. What's popping, brother? What's popping? Dolomite is in the building. What's good, my brother? What's good? Glad to see you. Glad to see you. We got the righteous teacher in the house. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Patrick Saint has pulled up a seat to the cool table. Good to have you. Afro Merchant is in the building. What's good, my brother? What is good? Glad to have y'all here. Glad to have y'all here, y'all. We got Computer Geek checking in as well. Shout out to Luckman. Glad to see you. Glad to see you. Waskin the Man Cave is in the building as well. Music Man is in the house. Glad to see you, brother. Music Man 1982 is in the house. Glad to see you, brother. And y'all, we about to get into this interesting situation, okay? You may have heard the head coach over at Michigan, man. He done ran into a problem, okay? He done ran into a problem, okay? No fraternization rule was broken, y'all. The no fraternization rule was broken. Now, before we get too far into this, shout out to Waskin the Man Cave. He came through with the first super chat of the day. And thank you for helping me get off to the good start, my brother. Appreciate that big time. Appreciate that big time. He says, Roger, did you check with Dr. Umar? He said, did you check with Dr. Umar before putting together this content? Shout out to you, Waskin the Man Cave. I'm gonna honestly say, y'all, I ain't even checked to see what he had to say. Okay, I ain't even checked to see what he had to say because I remember we did a black card review of Dr. Umar, and he didn't fare out so well. Okay, he didn't fare out so well. So I did not believe it was in the interest, the best interest of the show to even see what Dr. Umar talking about on today's subject. Okay. But I know he would be disappointed in a lot of ways, y'all. He would be disappointed in a lot of ways. Why? Because, see, a lot of folks, they rushed to do some content and they didn't even check, I guess. You know, a lot of folks, you know, I saw like headlines. I didn't check into people's content, but I saw some headlines. And people were saying, you know what, this is because he was with a white woman. Now, I'm going to say yes and no. It wasn't in the context they talking about because, you know what I did, man? I looked up, I just wanted to see pictures of the man and his wife. Okay? And if y'all don't know, part of this situation is you got this fraternization policy that was broken because the head coach, Sharon Moore, or however you pronounce his name, Sharon, Mr. Moore, head football coach, ended up having an affair with one of his employees. Okay, there's, you know, they have the quote unquote power dynamic that's going on. Now this is the thing, y'all. This is the thing. It seems the world already knows who the woman is. Now, I'm not gonna say her name because they didn't, you know, as I looked at the footage in the court, and they would say that they're not gonna say they doing this white woman victim thing, and the name don't come out. So seems like the world, a lot of content creators seem to have a deal. Seem to have a deal exactly who this woman is. Okay, her name was easily available. But in court, they said they're not gonna quote unquote name this person. So I said, okay, I ain't gonna mess with her name. Okay, I ain't gonna mess with her name. And I'm gonna say, guys need to wake up, y'all. Guys need to wake up. Why are we protecting these quote unquote people's name like this? Don't make a whole lot of sense to me. But I'm gonna say the people out there in the internet, man, and people in internet land, they was just throwing her name somewhere everywhere. Okay. So we ain't gonna mention her name because they didn't quote unquote release her name. But see, this is also the thing. When you protect these quote unquote women's names, you know, and act like they're victim, you're not are you a victim? You know, the question is she a victim? Because if we can't legitimately know who she is, then it's hard to know if she's really the victim. You know? So now, this is the thing, y'all. A lot of people just had an automatic reaction saying, okay, so this Negro messed with some white woman. All right. He just messed with some white woman, therefore he lost his job. A lot of folks never checked me. I looked up to see what his wife looked like. The dude is married to a white woman. So this is not this story about, oh, these black men who can't keep their hands off white women, which I saw a lot of folks was going in that direction based on titles and things. You know, it seemed like they were going in that direction. The dude has a white wife. This means he had two white women, y'all. Yeah, if you count it up, that means he had two white women. He got a white woman that's his wife, and then he got a white woman that he was having an affair with. Since he's been married about 10 years to his white wife, they have about 3 children based on reports that I've come across. And he was having an affair with another white woman. So basically, you got a white woman who's a homewrecker who had an affair with him, and she bogus. That's all I can say. She bogus. She came in messing with a married man. And you know what's so crazy about this? A lot of folks, we just totally ignore the fact that she messing with a married man. Like, I remember back in the day, y'all, it wasn't so cool to mess with a married man. Okay. Now people would say, well, the man ain't supposed to do that because he married, which is true. Okay. But at least we used to recognize that if you mess with a married man, that you definitely was a hoe. That used to be a recognizable thing. Do people recognize it the way they should recognize it nowadays? Hey, I don't know. You tell me. Do y'all think they're recognizing it the way they should recognize it? Because seems a little questionable to me if people understand that this hoe was being a home wrecker and trying to break up a family. Okay. Now, is she a hoe? Well, you tell me. If she was messing with a married man, don't that qualify? Last time I checked, that definitely qualifies as being a hoe. All right. So you got one white hoe messing with the other white woman who's married to her man, trying to live her life and have a family. So maybe she's upset over some other white woman being able to have a family and she don't like it. Maybe that's what the case is. They even say at some point the home wrecking hoe ended up pregnant and and she has been to the chop shop. That's what people were saying. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know. Is that true or not? Because some people just be talking. It's a lot of folks who get on the internet, they be content creators and they just be talking. So I don't know if that's true, but you hear a lot of rumors when you hear stuff. So there's a lot of stuff I'm just ignoring that I heard because I didn't get it from sources that I believe is credible enough. Okay. But every time I looked up a picture of this brother and his wife, that wife was white. Of course, at least look the way them pictures look, she sure looked white to me. All right. So the man had an affair. All right. They say this affair had been going on for years. Who's to know for sure? Especially when you don't even release the name of the person. So, technically everybody could be guessing the wrong person, even though I doubt that's happening. Okay. I'm pretty sure they done found the right home wrecking whore, as they would say. All right. Now, a lot of men, we go into this thing about, well, he just should have known better. He just shouldn't have did it. Man, I wish people stopped being fake. Everybody do something they ain't supposed to do at some point. Ain't none of us walking around here perfect. Yes, we should all strive to be perfect, but ain't none of us actually perfect. All right. When you get this level of position or power, it is what it is. A lot of women gonna come at you, but it seems to be an issue when it's a white woman coming at a black man. That's what the issue really seems to be. Now, I'm gonna say I hope this man can work it out with his family, because I don't wish divorce on nobody. If going through a divorce is a big thing, maybe he doesn't have to. Maybe he will have to. Too early to really say at this point. Too early to really say. A woman has a lot to think about when you got 3 children and they're supposed to be small children and they only been married 10 years. So how big could the children be? If they're all born within the marriage. So yeah, there's gonna be some things to think about. Okay. There's gonna be some things to think about when it comes to her. All right. But the people who are annoyed just because this is a black man with a white woman, like, when y'all gonna grow up? Real talk, when y'all gonna grow up? Now, I gotta say, okay, again, this is black women's fault, because black women should have been there and available, and he should have been able to get him a good black woman, and everything would have been fine. Okay, everything could have been fine. All right, but see, there was no good black woman available, so now he had to marry a white woman to have his family. That's not a good look. That's not a good look. All right. See, a lot of women want to act like, and a lot of even guys act like, well, he should have just went after a black woman, as if they won't do the same thing. Now, this is what the story is, y'all. This is what the story is. Okay. Because remember, they haven't officially named this woman. When I watched the court proceedings, even in the court proceedings, they wouldn't say her name. They wouldn't say where she lived and all this other stuff, right? Okay. So if they have the right white woman who was a home wrecking whore, Okay. Well, hoe, I should say, because it ain't like she was charging him. But then you could say something was going on with the money, y'all. Because, you know, people going through all type of stuff. They say she was getting paid $58,000 1 year, y'all, to do her job. You know, I forgot what the official title of her job was, but she basically is taking direction right from the head coach, which happens to be Moore. And in that position, from 1 year to the next, she had a job that paid looks like 58,000 1 year, and then the next year it went up to 90,000. Cause I was thinking, y'all, like, man, maybe he should have just took care of his hoe, man. Like, maybe he should have paid her a little something, something. But now, if he done got her a job where she done went from 58,000 1 year and went up to 90,000 the next year, it's like, man, what more? What more do you want from me, man? Like, I mean, if he done hooked you up like that, I mean, come on. Let's be grateful at some point. And y'all, they got him like he this terrible person, y'all. They got him like he this terrible person. So I'm looking in the news, seeing what they really saying, y'all. Do y'all know they locked this man up for nothing? Okay. That's what I'm going to say. Based on what I can tell, they done literally locked this man up for nothing. So supposedly this is how it went down. And I know people is giving out these different versions, but I'm going to see what makes sense. Now, they are claiming the woman tried to break up with him, which seems to be a bold-faced lie. That seems to be a bold-faced lie. It was brought to his attention that Michigan is now aware that he's having an affair with someone who works at the campus. Okay? Now, because of this, they're saying, hey, man, we had a deal with you, but you voided the deal out because you got this fraternization thing going on with one of the young ladies who works under you. So they fired him over that. Okay? They fired him over that. Now, hours later, couldn't find exactly how many hours later, but hours later, not days later, not months later, not weeks later. Hours later, he went to the unnamed, quote unquote, victim's home. All right. He went into her home. Now, keep in mind, y'all, this is somebody he's been having an affair with. Now, someone said, and again, no way to verify the information right now, but this is what they're saying. Okay. I'm going to say this is what people have reported. You know, hard to figure out exactly what's true. But the thing is this, y'all. Moore had to do something because there's whispers that Michigan know what's going on. Okay. There's whispers that Michigan knows what's going on. Okay. So in order to be okay with Michigan, he had to make some kind of move. So he either puts her in a different position to make sure his job is okay, or he fires her. It's one of the two. Either put her in a different position or fire her, because Michigan is getting word that, the word is that Michigan kind of know what's going on, and now you got to hide this from Michigan because the university got a rule, and you breaking the rule. So now you got to do something about this rule. So they say he chose to fire her. Now, is this true? Hard to say because number one, they ain't even released they haven't quote unquote officially made her will release the victim's name. So if we're talking about the same person, it could be true, but you don't know because unless you were there, how do you know that's what happened? It's hard to know what the truth actually is until more information comes out. I'm gonna say it's plausible. It's very plausible. So the story is he went and fired her. Now, because she got fired, she quickly took evidence and took it to the school to say, hey, this is what he's doing with me. It sounds crazy, y'all. This is what he's doing with me. Now, she worked there too. Okay, she worked there too. I ain't heard no word that she got fired. Okay, I ain't heard no word that she got fired. So this ain't making a whole lot of sense. But they say she brought up evidence to show that they were having, well, I guess for him, he's having an affair on his wife. But she worked there too. He ain't broke no more rules than what she broke. But somehow she's being protected. So she still has her job. And then they fire him. Say, hey, we got evidence that you having sex with this woman, basically. She works here. So we gonna have to let you go. You know, we wanted you to do certain things, but now we gotta let you go because she done made it an issue. So now we have to let you go. Which sounds crazy. And they're also saying Michigan held off on doing anything about the information because they did find out about it early. But because he's such a great recruiter, they didn't want to say nothing at the time. They wanted to kind of position people the way they wanted to position people. And I'm going to say this. Maybe when she brought the information to Michigan, maybe they were going to ignore it until that, kind of turned up. It could have been one of those things, well, we're going to look away. We know what's happening. But as long as it's working for us, we good with that. As long as it's working for us, we good with that. So it could have very much been that type of situation going on. All right. So, if that is true, Michigan has probably opened up the door for some lawsuits, but then again, who's going to actually sue them? So I'm going to say, men in general, this is a little too much, y'all. This is a little too much. So we just going to let the hoes get away with everything, right? We just going to let the hoes get away with everything. Now, I'm going to say this, y'all. The man got fired from a very promising job that was going to pay him millions of dollars. Okay? That's a huge loss. It's that simple at the end of the day. All right? But folks coming at him. So we cool with her keeping her job? Is that what we good with? So she can keep her job. It's just because he's a black man, he can't keep his? Is that what we doing? Because that don't make a lick of sense to me. That don't make a lick of sense to me. If we're going to hold him accountable, how come we're not holding her accountable? Now, when it comes to the legal situation, it looks like he's absolutely getting lynched. I'm going to tell you that right now, y'all. To me, it seems like he's absolutely getting lynched. Because what did he do? Okay, so he got fired, right? Hours later, not days, not weeks, hours later, he goes to the woman's home who he's supposedly having the affair with. And you know what he does when he gets to the home? He goes inside the home. He picks up some knives, including a butter knife, to try to make a threat. Not to the woman. He did not threaten the woman at all. He made a threat that he would kill himself. And his blood would be on her hands. And he gonna try to make her watch. Okay? Now, they done took him to jail. They treating him like he done broken the home or something like that, which he didn't. Nobody mentioned anything about any evidence that he broke into anything. He didn't even make a threat toward her. He said, I would kill myself. She's supposed to be saying something. And then, she would call the police or make some type of contact with police, or whatever the case is. And, what they got to do with her? He left. So obviously he ain't crazy. I'm gonna say that, y'all. Obviously, he ain't crazy. All right. If he was crazy, he ain't gonna mess around and end up walking away. So why he in jail? It ain't like they don't know each other. Okay. The way they were saying in the court, they was trying to come up with this story to make me believe he did something wrong. What did he actually do that breaks the law? He went and told the lady he was having an affair with that he may kill himself. So now they trying to make it sound like that she's breaking up with him. Now, is there evidence of that? I don't know. Okay, because I ain't seen that. And shout out to Compassion Cat. We see he done joined us. You know, we're gonna play a little bit of this. So Compassion, do what you want to do for wherever you want to do it from. But I'm just saying, y'all, the stuff ain't adding up to me. It just ain't adding up to me. But go ahead, my brother.
Some of the big stories that we are following here at this hour, and this is video coming in from just yesterday as we continue to follow the latest on the fired Michigan head football coach Sharon Moore. He is now out of jail after posting bond following his arrest earlier in the week. Moore arraigned virtually on Friday afternoon on charges including stalking and home invasion. His bond there set at $25,000.
This is the people of the state of Michigan versus Sharon Banfield Moore. Are we understood on the no contact and no go-to, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
As for what happened in court Friday, prosecutors laid out the allegations against him. They say Moore, quote, barged his way into the apartment of the woman with whom he had been having an affair and threatened to kill himself after she reported their relationship to the school and he lost his job as a result. The prosecution saying Moore and the woman were having an affair, quote, for a number of years before she ended it Monday. After the breakup, prosecutors say he contacted the woman, who was a staffer, repeatedly through phone calls and texts. From there, she contacted the University of Michigan and cooperated with their investigation into that relationship, and he was then fired.
Now, y'all, this whole story a piece of work, if you ask me, but I'm going to let Black Uru and Shark Sims get in because they done came up, and then we'll have, Compassion Callis give his word because he done came up too. So, Black Uru, you are first on the floor. What would you like to say so far on this particular subject matter?
Yeah, Roger, thanks for having me. I hope you and Compassion and Shark are doing well. I hope the folks in the public chat are doing well. Roger.
Yes, sir.
Everything that I have heard and read and observed of this story, it is 100% his fault. Every bit of it is his fault. Every single bit of it is his fault. He is being treated like the bitch he deserved to be treated as. Married one white woman, fucking another white woman on the job. Everybody know you're doing it. Everybody's okay with what you're doing. The only thing they're saying is, man, put her in another department, man. You either got to put her in another department or fire her. You fire her? Why the fuck do you fire her? And why would you fire her? When everybody know you're doing her. You give her a bump up in salary, you transfer her to some other place, and you keep on doing what you're doing. This is 100% his fault. And here's the worst offense, and the worst offense of all, nigga, you lost to Ohio State 2 weeks ago. That was a fireable offense right there. They had beaten Ohio State the last 5 seasons. I'm totally putting this on him. Completely putting this on him. And I'll end my opening statement there.
I was keeping it together to the end right there.
whole time, if he would have beat Ohio State, this shit would have never came out.
If he had beaten Ohio State, they would have buried this.
Y'all wow. Y'all is wow. I would say shout out to all my hoes demonetized. He said, keep your 304s demonetized, fellas, especially Snow White. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. Well, it looks like he had his extra monetized, but hey, I guess he still made a bad move. Shark Sims, you got the flow, my brother. You got the flow.
Hey, what's up, fellas? How y'all doing today?
Real quick, Mr. X, because I don't know who Mr. X is. You know what? I think I just figured that out. Mr. X, I got you. I'm bringing you right up. I just realized who Mr. X is. Go ahead, Shark. Go ahead.
Yeah. Looking at this story, because I watched the news joint that you put up, and I listened to what Uru was saying, and Uru basically has the same sentiment as me. This is all homeboy's fault. But the main two things I want to say is, brother, you have a prominent position in the world, in America. You can mess with any female you just about want in that place in the state of Michigan, and you choose to put yourself in a compromised position like that. And the second thing is, everybody can't be a player. This player shit it's an art to this damn thing. And it's like everybody want to be a player. And you can't be a player. Like you messing with the chick that you work with, and you signed the contract that says you can't do such. Then she breaks up with you. You want to kick the door down. You're not waving the 4-4. You go get a butter knife and try to cut your own. Everybody can't be a player. So everybody stop doing it. I know women look good these days. They're easy. But if you're not built for the game, don't play the game. Because when the things like this happen to you, I can't have any remorse or sympathy. So I land my plane right there.
I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. All right, Mr. X, you have the floor because I believe I know exactly who you are. Go right ahead, my brother.
Yes, sir. It is me, Roger. It's Kev. It's Kev. Yeah, it's been a little bit. I've been listening to you. I just been working and studying, but I've been following you guys and listening to the replay and stuff. And I laughed hard when Uru talked about him losing to Ohio State, because that is fireable. They almost fired Harbaugh because of that. He had to win a national championship to make up for it, for all the times he lost to Ohio State. But check this out. So here's the thing, and this is what I want to go with the actual topic, in the sense that this is very simple. The guy had a great wife, great family, great position, great job, all of that stuff, and basically he couldn't keep his Johnson under control, right? And then he dipped his dipped his wick in the company ink, right? So he did a lot of things wrong. All of that being said, it's very simple. He's going to suffer because of it. Obviously lose everything in the process, but the people who are really going to suffer is the wife who's basically devoted to him, and then the kids who are associated with that. So they got to deal with all of this. Now, I said all that to say this is that this is where people are going wrong with it. Now it's starting to be, I'm not going to say politicized, but at least racialized, and not so much for anybody else. I haven't seen it too much with people outside of black folks, but with at least with black people and black women specifically. Now the conversation is about, instead of him just saying, hey, look, he just should have kept his Johnson in his pants. Now it's like, why are all of these, black men who get money going after these non-black women, specifically white women? Right. And that's not the case. Right. Because when you look at the data, and they were talking about this on a famous podcast, and I won't mention their name, but one guy at least did level set the conversation by saying 83% of black men who are married, all right, who are earning $100,000 or more. That includes those athletes and the wealthy men, wealthy black men. 83% are primarily married to black women. So that kind of blows that out of the water. And what people do is they kind of look at athletes and all these celebrities and use that as a template and avatar for the rest of the average black male population. So they kind of lose that. And as it relates to this, and this is what I'll say whenever a woman brings this up, and I've never had a woman bring this up in front of me, but I'm going to say, look, if you are not chasing after a good, solid black man who was doing all the right things and on his way to his ascension, and you didn't lock him down and somebody else got him when he got to the top, that's y'all's fault. And we're going to have to be able to say that to them, so that way they can just, you know, stop talking and crying and whining about it from that perspective. But that's a spin I wanted to put on it, because as far as I'm concerned, the basic premise is the dude made a lot of mistakes. It has nothing to do with the race, the woman, and all this other stuff. He's the one that should be suffering because of this, and it shouldn't be anything else outside of that. I'll go ahead and land right there.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yep, this is black woman's fault. That's what I'm saying. Let's get a mic to the Great Black Reset. You have it. You have the floor, my brother.
What's up, fellas? What's up? I'm the other Kev. I'm the lesser Kev up here.
We ain't gonna look
Roger.
at you like that. We ain't gonna look at you like that.
Hey, I recognize greatness, and I'm gonna give greatness his credit. You know, this man is great. But Roger, don't you dare defend this Negro. Don't even try. This gonna be the shortest show you ever did if you try to defend this Negro. What position was this woman holding on the football team? I want to know. Was she painting the field? Was she photocopying the plays? What position was she holding? This is obvious. This is obvious. Was she holding the ball for the kicker? What was she doing? She ain't doing nothing. Everybody know what you're doing. Everybody, I ain't got no problem with that. You making sure you know your little boo baby get paid or whatever, right? Cool. There are ways that you handle this. And first of all, he ain't kicked no door down. That man had a key. If anybody know anything about having a mistress, especially after a few years, you got a key to the house. So he ain't broken nothing. That right there, I don't believe that. But anyway, bro, you can't have a woman that you sleeping with working in the department where women don't belong. That's just too obvious. That right there gives the university a reason to fire you whenever they get ready. That's what he doing wrong. You gave them the reason to get rid of you whenever they get ready. So when you're no longer useful, she the tool. She the tool. You lose to Ohio State. Yeah, we won a national championship a couple years ago, but you was the offense coordinator. You the head coach. You lose to Ohio State, we get to use the tool against you. He set himself up for failure, bro. He set himself up for failure. Bro, this is so stupid. Yeah, I'm going to put her in another department, but he can't stand to not be away from this woman. Come on, bro. No, this is it. You can't defend this. You can't defend this, man. No, bro. He's supposed to got fired. No. Nope. I'm going to land my plane right there.
Wait,
I'm getting mad at this more I think about it.
Real quick, Roger.
Go ahead, bro.
Yo, what the hell is Ohio State that bad of a team that you can't lose? Because I ain't really a football dude, so like, damn.
Yo,
like,
no,
Roger, can I jump in?
Yup, absolutely, Dr. Dunbar. He was gonna be next no matter what. So, you know,
Okay.
PhD privilege. Go ahead.
It's been a while. But first, to answer that last gentleman's question, that is our arch rival. Okay, that's the game everybody has circled every year, and that game can make or break your career as the head coach. So that's the answer to that. Just briefly, I had to come up. I'm a Michigan alum. I agree with what Black Uru said wholeheartedly. This is entirely self-inflicted, and as this has been unfolding, I thought back to President Obama. Not all of us like President Obama, but President Obama got through 8 years of his presidency without something like this, because certainly they were looking for something like this. And it's just strange to me that nobody in Sharon's corner pulled him aside at the beginning or throughout this and said, you know, dude, you better stop. You should stop, because this is you're the head of a one of the biggest sports brands out there. You're the head of a $1 billion enterprise, a worldwide brand, and you can't go anywhere in that state without somebody recognizing you. So you are treading on very, very thin ice, and somebody it's just hard to believe that nobody pulled him to the side and said, you should stop this. It's either that or he did not listen. Because I'm sure someone must have pulled him to the side and said, you need to be careful. So I think this is a lesson for all of us, especially in professional settings. People are, as Black men, people are watching us, and you need to have that sixth sense, those eyes on the back of your head to know that people are watching you. So, I mean, we all have female coworkers. Many of them look really, really good, but you got to think before you get involved, who's watching you and what do you have to lose if, in fact, it goes bad. So I'm going to land my plane right there.
Well, doctor, he was thinking with the head that don't got eyes. That was his problem.
They say it's one. But compassionate kind of what you got for us, brother? What you got for us?
What's good, bro? Yeah, no, this is, and Doc, you point out, and Uru, I mean, a couple of you guys pointed out the blind spot he clearly has. But I want to remind, we got to add this into evidence. I think Sharon is a first generation immigrant. I think Trinidadians. So, and this, I see what I got on the screen right here. In 20, I think it was 2023 at the Rose Bowl, he was quoted by saying, when he was asked, well, I'll read the post. The reporter asked Michigan coach Sharon Moore about Jalen Milroe's comments on Bill O'Brien, suggesting his changed positions and where he thinks Black QBs stand today from a stereotyping standpoint. Sharon replied, and quote, "Really, I don't see color. My wife is Caucasian. My kids are mixed." I'll stop right there. So Sharon got into the O.J. Simpson syndrome, where he figured, like Uru pointed out, people was cool with him having a white wife. He in Michigan for one. And I don't got to tell you, Dr. Dunbar, about what that means as a Black man. And you're a head coaching position at the University of Michigan. You already got a white wife, and everybody already kind of knows you sleeping with your assistant, your white assistant. And they're all cool with that in 2025. As long as you winning and you doing your job, they letting a Black man walk through the city of Michigan, Ann Arbor, with white women. So that was that's the glaring blind spot he clearly wasn't aware of, that we're that's so clear today. That, boy, you was getting away with what, as Black men in America, especially FBA Black men, are very well acquainted with understanding. When you got a white woman, boy, you better keep your head on the swivel and keep your nose clean. They waiting for you to tweak. And they was giving you a lot of rope. You had 2 white bitches. Sorry, excuse my language. But you had 2 white women. And they was letting you get away with that until you played it like Tiger Woods. And you went out, and you're going out like Tiger went out. And I'll land my plane there. But I think it's a blind spot of him not being FBA, because this would be really, really obvious that you couldn't get away with. You can only get away with so much.
You know what? Compassionate. I'll say this and I have to drop. That's an excellent point. That school is a very it's liberal, so it's welcoming to people of color. I'll just say people of color. So yeah, he had a lot of rope. I mean, just having his white wife, but yeah, that's only going to go so far. And even with it being a liberal institution, minority welcoming institution, certainly there were parties there who did not like to see that he had a white wife and a white mistress. So he was arguably a dead man walking, in my opinion.
They obviously did not have a problem with him until he let his situation get messy. If it is true that he was given the option to either fire her or transfer her, his firing her, what's the logic for firing her? given the
Stupidity.
position that he had put himself in with her. What's the logic with him firing her, if that's all true?
Stupidity, like Kev said.
Megalomania.
Stupid.
He the head coach of Michigan, so he wields an extraordinary
Let,
amount of power, and he forgot he was a Negro.
man, let me tell y'all how stupid this is. This is really stupid. His contract was $30 million over the life of his contract. This is your mistress. Why don't you just open up your own LLC, make her a 1099 employee, get her an apartment, put her where she want to be, give her a stipend, and get her away from your job?
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
No, ain't no coochie worth that much.
Yeah, I don't
What-
understand why
what-
why he was getting paid. Why he didn't go ahead and at least buy her an apartment and everything else. Maybe buy her a car or whatnot, and keep this thing quiet and everything. This story reminds me what happened to Michigan State coach Mel Tucker. Remember, you know Mel Tucker. I mean, very much. It's very similar to the Mel Tucker situation when he had an $84 million contract and everything else, and he got caught with the mistress and everything else. And
Mel Tucker, that situation was different. Mel Tucker got railroaded on some bullshit. He never even touched that one.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah, that's different. But
that was different. That was different. But still, universities are going to side with the white woman on that situation.
I think what y'all
This is not a white or black thing. You guys are missing the mark. I promise you, this ain't about race. This is about stupidity.
Yeah,
it's about stupidity.
No,
bro.
I think deeper than the stupidity, I think it's an example of in case of a black maleness. This what y'all laying out is the standard operating procedure of a man wielding an extraordinary amount of power, because he's the Michigan head coach. Like you said, his contract was giving him $30 million, just him. That's how much. If anybody knows about
NCAA, you could argue. There's an argument that the Michigan head coaching job is the most prestigious job in all of college.
In the whole state.
No, listen to me.
Football.
In all of football, you can make the argument that is even more prestigious than Alabama or whatever, because it's Michigan. Michigan is arguably the finest public university in the country.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And he didn't know how to move with that sort of power. Clearly.
All right, y'all.
And let's talk. This guy's 39 years old, which means he was given the opportunity to become a head coach of Michigan at what, 37?
Yeah.
When he was initially promoted into the interim head coaching job when Harbaugh left. This is crazy, man.
Yeah.
This guy got an opportunity that nobody gets, man. No, I have no sympathy for this fool.
And y'all gotta realize.
Hold fast, y'all. I still got two more people who ain't had a chance to say nothing, and I gotta get a super chat question in.
So I had to speak up. Go ahead.
Well, you bogarted your way in. I was gonna give you over the state, but you bogarted. So But I gotta get something in by no placeholder. No placeholder sent the super chat. He says, if he got the OJ syndrome, what does being the child of an immigrant matter? Why mention him being Trinidadian if OJ if OJ did the same as an FBA? I'm gonna say what I got out of him mentioning him being from Trinidad or his family being from Trinidad is just maybe he just ain't accepted it and he don't know no better. That's what I got from. I mean, I'm gonna let Compassionate say that on his own.
Let me. I have the authority on this point because this is a historical perspective. Because OJ said that shit over 40 years ago. Whatever. So this is a lesson that black men learned generations ago. But if you didn't grow up a quote African-American man, this is a newer issue for you. So no placeholder. I understand what you're saying, but you have to look at it from a time perspective. Yeah, OJ said that shit and learned the lesson from it, and FBA men learned the lesson from it as well. Maybe the Trinidadian brothers are slow coming to that lesson, because you haven't, or the Trinidadian, he's only what, first generation Trinidadian. His perspective is clearly that of someone who doesn't really kind of align with the FBA perspective in some regards. So, I mean, just the way he was moving around Michigan says he didn't really know what he was potentially getting into. And then going to that woman's home and all that shit after he done fired her and all that. An FBA brother's gonna know a little bit better than that.
Yeah.
Today, he's gonna know a little bit better than that.
And now, shout out to all my hosts, demonetized again. He said, "This is simple. Stop mixing business with pleasure."
Exactly.
And I'm gonna say
that's bullshit. We talking about college fucking football. Everybody is
bro, you gonna
everybody.
Yeah, you gonna get you one of them.
All women you see on the sidelines moving around mics and clipboards. Y'all don't think everybody is running through all them girls? Come on, man.
I understand.
There ain't a man with a functioning.
Guys, hold fast. I still got two people who ain't got nothing in yet. Okay, I got two people who still need to get in. All right, I appreciate the enthusiasm. I do. Shout out to Pink Toes in My Mouth. You got the flow, my brother, and we'll get Tunnel running in immediately behind you. Tunnel running, don't let these guys bully you, man. Get in right behind Pink Toes. Go ahead, my brother.
Good morning, gentlemen. Happy Monday to everybody.
What's up, bro?
I can't believe this. I can't believe this dumb Negro was going to have me come up here to defend the voluptuous and eloquent Snow Queen. So y'all telling me that ain't good Negro had the nerve to drink the white milk from the precious kitty of a white woman and then fire her afterwards? Is that what y'all saying? He fired her?
Yes.
Something like that, according to the story. Something like that.
He sucked the white nipples, given the opportunity that many Negroes never had, and then have the nerve to try to get rid of her. Man, I miss the days when the Ku Klux Klan would have handled his ass like that, man. How do you do her dirty like that? Huh? The poor Snow Queen. You get the coochie, and then you try to pop your collar on her. That's some white man stuff. Nah, I don't feel sorry for him. Get rid of him. Bye, Negro. Dummy.
For that reason.
Pink Toes, you finished?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay.
Gentlemen,
hold on, gentlemen.
Hold on, Black Guru saying something. Black Guru saying something. Go ahead, Black Guru.
Y'all see the movie Undercover Brother?
Yeah.
Remember Dave Chappelle asked Undercover, was the nipples pink? Yeah. Yeah. But go ahead.
All right.
Yeah, real quick. Bad Black Gamer has come up, so Bad Black Gamer, you get in right behind Tunnel Runner for these guys start going off again. Okay, don't let them bully you. Get in right after Tunnel Runner. Go ahead, Tunnel Runner.
Okay, yeah, this is a story of money, power, football. It's an old story. It's been going on a long time. This man got a position. He got power. As a black man, they're always looking to bring you down. So you always tell brothers, protect yourself at all times. If you this could have happened whatever woman he was married to and messing with another woman, your secretary, they looking for you to do that move. That's the move that's like ABC situation. Everybody's looking for you to get with your secretary. He got the secretary escorting his wife around the football field, just playing too close to home. And you got to protect yourself at all times. When you're in that position, and you're making $5 million a year, a $30 million contract, there's a lot of people don't want to see you make that kind of money, and they were aiming at you. So you have to protect yourself at all times. He could have did everything he was doing. He just had to be patient in how he was doing what he was doing. He was able to protect himself, and he didn't protect himself, and that's why he got exposed. I'll land right there.
All right, Bad Black Gamer, get in there, brother.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Salutes to the chat.
Good morning,
you hear me
brother.
okay?
Yeah, we hear you great.
All right. First of all, I'm gonna say like y'all being unfair to the man right now, because everybody know when you come a head coach in college football, it's included in your contract. You get to get some, little young white, tail. You know what I'm saying? That's included in everybody's contract, and y'all know that, right? So I'm good like this. If I think it was like some white guy, Italian guy, something like that. Help me out if I get it wrong. Named Rip Eternal or something like that. I remember him getting in trouble for like having sex with a lady on the table of some restaurant. If I got that story right. So
Right.
if he could do that, that dude had a whole another career. I think he won like another championship in basketball after that. So Shamor is gonna be all right. He just need to go to Texas where they like football. Probably coach one of them pro high school teams, and he'll be back. And his wife ain't going nowhere, so he's good.
And but
I have an idea for
we all
brother.
know it's an old African American adage, old ADOS adage. You don't got the complexion for that type of protection, nigga.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. But here's the thing. I think, listen, brothers, I think he could bounce back if he would just, look himself in the mirror, just realize he's black. He's going to have to end up coaching at an HBCU school if he can handle that. That's
that'll be the end of his career.
That's gonna be worse. No,
if you go to an HBCU after Power 5, that's the end of your career. Listen,
Yeah.
Michigan is not going to hire a black man just to hire a black man. There's no Rooney Rule in college. This is the most prominent football program in the United States. They hire who they want to hire.
It's the most prominent football school in all of football, whether it's pro or college football.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is the most prominent program. They don't have the restriction of we have to hire a black guy every now and then as a token nigga. No. When they hire you because they want you, they believe in you, and somebody spoke up for you. Harbaugh spoke up for this man and got this man this job, and he has done fairly well other than playing Ohio State. Bro, this is not a black issue. This is a stupid issue.
Yes, very stupid issue. And that's why my thing is that, if he serves his time and everything else and humbled himself, maybe in the next 10 years, you might see him pop up coaching at an HBCU school in Division II football.
All right, let me get this in, y'all. Shout out to all my hosts who monetized. He said, for those that disagree, when throughout history has a man's money kept him out of trouble from 304s? Keep on, fellas. Keep on. Hey, appreciate that, brother. And I'm gonna say he has an excellent point right there. Holes is what they use to take you down, no matter who you are as a man. That's part of the game of taking down a man. They're gonna find some woman to do it. You know what I'm saying? To do something to get you in a situation you don't want to be in. And I'm gonna say that's what happened to him. Now I'm gonna say this, y'all. I don't believe this is because he's having sex with some white woman. Again, the man got a white wife. The people who came to that conclusion, y'all ain't looked at nothing. The man's wife is married. So, I mean, the man the woman he's married to is a white woman. It was a secondary white woman. Now, again, a rumor, because I can't say this came from a justifiable place, but it does make some level of sense. He fires her. Now, and probably before he got on record that he fired her, she takes the evidence that she had been collecting the whole time, and she immediately takes that to whoever she had to take to it at Michigan, and now she has involved Michigan, the university. When I'm saying Michigan, I'm referring to the university. So now they may have known about this. Everybody could be totally ignoring it, but you can't ignore it once you come in there making a complaint and saying, "Look, this is us. This is what we've been doing this whole time. It's been going on for this amount of time." You know, now Michigan has to address. So I think they put the school in position where it had to be addressed. So now that they had to address it,
which is why, Roger, it was insane to fire her.
And she
it was
did it.
insane to fire her. There is no plus side to firing a woman whom you've already compromised yourself with legally and economically.
Uru, you make the case for the lawyer. Once you fire her, you basically prove that it was coercion involved in the relationship.
Yeah.
Once you pull that trigger,
yes.
in that situation,
which enables them to then not only fire you, but then reclaim all of what you would have gotten from that contract.
Yeah.
Thank you. That too. Damn.
Now,
Right.
I gotta say this, y'all. I have to say this. This is one of the rumors going around. I couldn't find that in a credible source, though. I could not find it. I couldn't find any good information in a credible source. I'm gonna say it makes some level of sense because she did come tell at some point. That we know is true. We know she came and told at some point.
Once there's any evidence of abuse of his position, that empowers them to rescind everything they originally offered him in that deal.
Thank you.
Yeah, because now you're employed, they can't pay you off. They can sweep it under the rug while you still
even if it's not true, they'll put the propaganda out there like it is because you gave them the evidence by putting on the staff in the first place.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
And if y'all saying that Michigan is such a prestigious school, don't they have to keep their name clean?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So if he's violating contracts and he doing things he's not supposed to do, he gets everything he gets. And like Uru said, you fired. Like at my job, if I make a complaint about Uru and this comes out to be true, and like 2 months later, Uru tries to like get revenge on me by doing something, and I could prove that that's why he's doing it because I reported him 2 years ago. Uru can get fired for that. It's like revenge.
Retaliation.
Yeah,
Retaliation.
there you go. Thank you. That's exactly what she was trying to prove. They like, yo, you fired. She like, for what? Well, he just doing that because I ain't giving him no oochie coochie la la la. Can you prove that? Yes, I can.
And one of his biggest things was he committed the act of not beating Ohio State. If he did that, if he would have beat Ohio State, we wouldn't even be talking about it.
Let me say this: if they were one of the 12 teams that are playing for the championship in a couple of weeks, they would have somehow swept this shit under the rug.
Absolutely.
They would have, at the very least, kept the shit quiet until that
you know how much
tournament was
money
over.
is at stake?
All right, let me force this in. Y'all. Shout out to Mr. Donnie Mac, who brought it up. Something I've said too. She hasn't been fired. She still has a
way
job,
they're going to
y'all.
fire her. If they fire her, they might as well write her a $10 million check, Roger.
Yeah, because that retaliation clause. You
Yeah.
can't
No. She was a subordinate of his.
Yeah.
So everything, he essentially was representing the university. So essentially, he was the agent. All of the abuse that he supposedly conducted, he performed as an agent of the university.
Yeah,
that's a $10 million check to her automatically.
Yeah. I totally get you. And shout out to Computer Geek, because it's gonna fall under this. He created a quote unquote hostile work environment, and that's the issue. That for those who don't necessarily get it, because my thing is why you don't fire the woman. Well, if she's gonna play it, and why wouldn't she? If she's gonna play it as I kind of had to do it, then what can be said?
Roger, this fool went to her home and started grabbing up knives and shit. I mean, that's a slam dunk 8-figure settlement for her. It's a slam dunk.
I'm not going to say that Michigan did the wrong thing as far as the school is concerned. I think him losing his job ain't really much to discuss there. I think he's going to get railroaded in the court system. Him losing his job is nothing really to be said. He broke the rule. He got caught. It is what it is. When you break rules, you taking a gamble, and you just simply lost his gamble because she went and made somebody have to do something about it. So yeah, he lost that gamble that this would stay quiet, and he lost it before he really got into the big money, which is kind of sucks for him. So
what gambling did he do? I mean, this is the dumbest gamble I can think of.
Yeah.
You fire your job mistress when you apparently were given the option to merely transfer her.
Yeah.
You fired her.
Or pay her
somebody who might have been pregnant or at some point had been pregnant, but there was a deletion of a pregnancy or whatever. I mean, all parts of this, look, I want to put this on Michigan, and maybe if I were to put it on Michigan, the question would be, well, what did you all really know about this relationship before all of this went down? Because it appeared to be the most open secret there was on campus, apparently. And if that's true, then maybe you can make the argument, well, Michigan should have acted before this whole thing blew up. I think there might be an argument for that. I don't know how that necessarily helps him, though.
In the world of Me Too, cats is still moving like this.
Right. That's the crazy.
See, you all. This is college fucking football. A head coach on a college campus at a major university is practically a god. It does not at all surprise me he was smashing her. It wouldn't have surprised me if he was smashing half of the females on the staff. That part don't surprise me.
But Uru, he could have got him a nice senior.
Yeah, just how he managed it. It was clearly just
alone.
No, the only problem with his management is that, look, once you do dirt, right, then you got to manage your dirt.
Yeah, you can't leave loose ends.
And so, okay, once he decided he was going to be fucking on her, then at that point, okay, I got to basically manage this situation for as long as I'm here, because I put myself in a position where it can go bad. But I did that. Okay, fine. We're men. We do stuff. That's fine. But that means, okay, now I gotta basically take care of this woman, essentially. I gotta manage this woman. I gotta manage her emotionally. I gotta manage her economically, and I've agreed to do that by getting involved with her to begin with.
Hey, Black Guru, I have a question for you. Do you see any difference between Mr. Moore's situation compared to Rick Pitino's situation?
Well, I mean, there's several big differences between. There's lots of differences. Obviously, basketball is a different environment, but there are two main differences between Rick Pitino and Sharon Moore. One is Rick Pitino is white. Two is, Rick Pitino is one of the 5 greatest coaches of the last college basketball coaches of the last 40 years.
Pitino's Rick Pitino.
Yeah.
Y'all don't remember the Louisville coach got caught with the cheerleader on the back of the motorcycle and they fired him? Y'all remember that?
Yeah, Bobby Petrino. He coached
Bobby Petrino
at Missouri State.
Bro, they'll get rid of the white boys too.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the coaches.
The thing is, though, is that some of these white coaches will get a second chance.
Well, he's gonna get another chance.
Messing around, you can go on any college campus, football, basketball, especially the major sports, but really any sports where there are men and women around is some fucking. Everybody is. Naturally. It's too much fun. It's too much money. Yep. It's got big crowds. Everybody. The men are hyped up. The women are hyped up to be around the hyped up man. Everybody's fucking.
What he did to really nail himself to the cross uniquely across, we can name a bunch of coaching scandals with sexual assault with staffers or whatever. It was the reason why this nigga is in jail right now, because cheating with having sex with your staffer is not against the law. They wouldn't have locked him. They just fired him for that. Yeah. This nigga barged in her house and grabbed a butter knife and threatened to kill himself.
That's what they're using to have him in jail. There's no reason to be in jail, but I'm gonna touch back on that in a moment. Shout out to Luke
Montgomery. In her house.
Hold on. Shout out to Luke Montgomery. He said, but Roger, how can she be allowed to keep her job when she was willing to participate in breaking the rule in place before she hired and was aware of?
She's a victim as far as the university concerned.
As a woman, she is not going to go in there and
because
tell
she's
them
a subordinate.
As a woman, she is not going to go in there and say, I volunteered to be in a relationship. Y'all got to think about this in a real world context.
The man, they broke up. The man went to her house. They're not going to fire that woman. This has coercion, regardless of what happened. Yeah. Regardless of what happened. The fact that man went to her house and allegedly grab some sharp objects or some weapons or whatever, that neutralizes any argument towards firing her. Because what that says is she was coerced, she felt threatened every day. I didn't know what he was going to do. I thought he was going to hurt me. All that, a decent attorney, a first year out of law school attorney would eat that shit alive if you fired that one.
And I'm gonna say this now. That did happen after he was fired. He was already fired when that happened. Right. That's the thing. He was already fired. But what woman is going to go tell on herself and make it like she wasn't forced to do it? Exactly. That's not going to happen.
But regardless of whether he was fired, I'm just answering
the question, Blackwood, that he put there. Like, well, why wouldn't they fire her? Because she'll never present herself in a position where she voluntarily did anything. I'm saying, and when you go to somebody and tell, they got to make a decision at that moment with the information that they had just been provided. Real talk, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna just say, real talk. Most men ain't gonna care. We just gonna do what a woman wants us to do anyway.
Now, Roger, I think she gonna keep her job because she the one who snitched first. They give you.
No, Shark. They already had an investigation against him, and she started to cooperate after they broke up.
Yeah, so she snitched.
How they characterizing it? Yeah, like she
played
basically
the game.
She started corroborating the things they had already had an investigation open for.
Yeah, like me and Uru get arrested and they bring me a hot hamburger. I'm like, I start working with them.
There's no scenario where you're going to fire a woman in that situation. It's just not going to happen.
In this Me Too environment, on top of that,
like you said, that's be writing her a check for $10 million.
Might as well. Why even go through the chocolate court? Just write the check.
But Roger, he kicked that. He barged into her home.
Hold fast. I'm gonna let you get it, but let me get these super chats in. I'm gonna let you get it. Shout out to No Placeholder. He said, in the world of Me Too, Unc lost like 30 million. Absolutely. And also shout out to Mr. Donnie Mack. He says, for example, the cheaters that got caught at the Coldplay concert were both C-suite level officers. Both were fired. This case is different with a power imbalance.
Yep.
And I'm gonna have to say, you're right. That's all I can say on that one. You're right that there is a different dynamic going on when it comes to power in this particular situation. And again, y'all, when a woman goes to explain what happened, because I'm guessing she went to explain what happened for whatever her reasons are. That's why it's somewhat believable that he may have fired her, even though he comes off as a much smarter man than to fire her. So I don't even know if that's true, but it is a believable story at this point, based on what the information that we have. It's believable that I'm gonna fire her. Well, now she's in a position where she got to do something to protect herself. She got a job paying her $90K at this point. Mm-hmm. Will she give up the guy for the $90K job? Absolutely. Who not gonna give up the guy for the $90K a year job? Yeah, you gotta go. So that makes sense. And shout out to Afro National. He said witches and warlocks strikes again. Hashtag long live habitual line steppers. Hey man, all I'm gonna say again, brother, it's a tough situation because you got to think about we got to think about this as being a real person. You are a woman. You have a $90,000 a year job, and all you got to do is turn on that nigga. Who ain't turning?
Well, think about it too, Raj. She's the executive assistant to the head coach who just got fired. So technically you're fired if your boss get fired.
Oh,
in that case. So she ran to them like, hey, like you said, trying to keep that 90 bands. And because it looked like it could have been a boss coercing me to do this.
Well, but the only reason he was fired was because of his involvement with her.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not. She's protected regardless. She's protected regardless.
As long as she say the right thing, she protected.
Right. And I'm gonna say truthfully, we don't really know what's going on because I don't think the man was dumb enough to fire her instead of just put it in a different department. I really don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? How could a man achieve this much but be dumb enough to fire her, triggering her to go tell?
Roger, he was dumb enough to have sex with her after his contract says no fraternizing with staff. So why can't he be dumb enough to do that?
Exactly.
This is all about positioning. Any of you guys play poker?
No, I
don't play poker. I personally
don't play poker at all. I never played it.
Well, if you ever play like Texas Hold'em, they'll teach you like it's about your position to the dealer is important. So you can play more aggressive or less aggressive according to your position. She realized she was in a position to be aggressive, and she took advantage of it. I can't be mad at her. She got him and the school by the balls at the same time. All she got to do is squeeze and see which one of them holler first.
Yeah.
He would have been. I mean, there's one other thing that could have triggered this thing. If it is true that at some point she was pregnant and there was a pregnancy termination and there was some disagreement regarding that, he wanted it, she didn't, for example, or vice versa even. But more likely he wanted it and she didn't, but she did it anyway. That would trigger her betrayal of him.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a good point. And I'm gonna say, y'all, I am not here saying that Michigan railroaded him. I don't think they railroaded him at all. He put himself in a position where firing comes with what he did. Yeah. It just is what it is on that note.
Not only did Michigan love this dude, they promoted this guy to interim head coach at 37 years old. A black dude at the University of Michigan. That's unheard of. They love this dude.
Yeah. No, what I was going to say is I think the court system is going to railroad him. That's what I believe is going to happen.
But now Michigan. Hold on. I think Michigan is going. Let me finish. Now Michigan is going to railroad him. They loved him, and now they don't love him no more because he done brought all this shame to this great institution. And all of this, and we got recruits and got people he's recruited and how that's going to affect our recruiting. So they loved him before he got messy with his hope.
But Black Guru, here's the thing: Michigan is going to get hit really hard because you're going to have a whole bunch of these. Because he helped bring in some of these talented players this past year, the starting quarterback and everything. Now, reportedly, the starting quarterback named Bryce Underwood is threatening to transfer to another school. He's talking to
that's every year. That's every year. That ain't got nothing to do with this.
He's going to lose a lot of his recruits.
It doesn't matter. That's happening every year because of the transfer portal. Now that ain't got nothing to do with him. Another team can offer them some money and they go.
University of Michigan. They'll get
Yeah,
they'll get a
they'll be
big
fine.
name guy to come
They'll
in
get
Yeah,
there.
that'll be fine.
Bigger name than him
But it's going
to
to take
come
a
in there.
year.
The
But
bigger name than him to come in there. They'll be fine. It may be a little trouble next season because of this, but after that they'll be fine.
I bet you $100 to one that they'll have the number one recruit at quarterback next year.
In fact, there's some
Bryce
murmurs
Underwood?
that
I don't
the
know.
black Filipino dude over there at Notre Dame will probably take that gig.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
He's
I doubt
also
that.
he's also
He got the best job in the world at Notre Dame. He's
yeah,
not
but the difference between Notre Dame and Michigan is you could win a championship at Michigan. You
yeah,
can't win a championship at Notre Dame.
yeah.
Yeah.
Notre Dame just got left out of the college playoffs, and dude is
Yeah.
salty about it. He would be an excellent candidate to
I
bring in
mean,
over there.
Michigan and Notre Dame are about at the same level, but you can
Yeah,
recruit at a higher level athletically at Michigan.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say Moore will get another opportunity because stuff he didn't get a long time to make his mark, but he was so young and he did such a great job so quickly.
His biggest problem is not getting fired. His biggest problem is the messiness, after it. Because people get fired all the time, and sometimes they even get fired for some improprieties. But then how you handle the improprieties. He has not handled this situation very well, going to the woman's house, all this. Now, maybe it's lies, maybe it's not the truth, but the problem is by going over there, you position yourself for all kinds of accusations to be made about what you were doing over there when you went over there.
yeah.
Well, this is the thing though, and that's why I say that he's gonna get railroaded through the legal system. I can't trip about Michigan firing. He put himself in position to get fired. It is what it is. I really ain't gonna say nothing about Michigan on that note. Now, what I'm saying, he's gonna get railroaded because, okay, he found out in one day that he got fired. He went to go talk to his mistress. This is somebody he messing with at the end of the day. And just like the Great Black Reset said, he probably had a key over there. This is what I'm thinking. He go over there. Okay, she happens to be there. He goes in the house. They didn't say anything about evidence that he broke into anything. So he was let in that house because that's the dude. This dude been dicking her down for a good period of time. She let him in the house. And then he got upset and threatened to quote unquote kill himself with some butter knives and whatnot. So he wasn't really gonna do nothing if we pay attention. He wasn't really about to do a thing. Then when she said something about calling the police, he left with doing nothing to her. He didn't slap her, he didn't punch her, he didn't do anything. So yeah, he went to be evaluated mentally to see if there's something wrong with him. And they said, no, we can give him back to police custody. This dude is absolutely fine. The man got upset because he lost the job. He went to the chick house he was messing with because she had something to do with him losing his job. He was just simply an upset man. And that's it. And now they made it a criminal thing, and he didn't do anything. There's no law he broke. They say even in the state of Michigan, it is not illegal to commit suicide. So even if we say if we were going to take that seriously, that's not illegal. So yeah, he's definitely being railroaded through the legal system.
Well, him trying to commit suicide, it warrants a psychic evaluation,
which
right?
they did. Which
Period.
they did,
Yeah,
and they
so-
gave him back and said he fine.
And if Compassion can go to that picture of him sitting in that room by himself with the all white on, he barged his way into that girl's house and he was stalking her. Like you always say, Roger, black men don't break up with women.
Bro, you can't stalk your mistress, bro. Especially
Yes,
when you
can.
pay the bills.
Hold on.
Anybody.
Hold on. When it comes to stalking, he found out that day he got fired and was there a couple of hours later. It's
That's
not
not
stalking.
stalking.
It's the same day.
That's
It's
not
the
stalking,
same
bro.
day.
Bro, they said they got text messages, multiple text messages, and he barged his way in. I don't know
That
what information y'all got
Yeah.
about keys and all of that. That ain't even that
no,
was
no,
not
I,
in
I
no
don't I
brother,
don't think
information.
brother.
anything. I don't think anything. I don't think anything. I don't think anything is going to come of any of that stuff. I think it's mostly just a show to support Michigan being able to easily. This is mostly this is University of Michigan. Everything that's going to happen around this is going to be about protecting the great University of Michigan.
Yes,
So if
sir.
we got to put on a circus with the police and the prosecutors or whatever, I don't think anything's going to happen to him. I think it's going to all kind of, it's a big bluster, but it's really about providing enough support for them to be able to easily get rid of him without, him being able to counter in any sort of suit. That's what I think it's mostly about.
And he didn't
Now,
do
the
any.
extent to which he tried to fight to for his job or to fight to reclaim some part of that contract, that might determine how harshly he's treated. But if I were him, I'd try to figure out a way to quietly talk with the board of trustees or whatever, and how you're just gonna let me go. Maybe I can get some tiny settlement, but let me go. I'll go away quietly. We do an NDA, and everybody just go on, and it'll just get kind of swept.
I don't think he'll be railroaded as far as the law though, because he broke in and he was trying to commit suicide upon himself. If he would have barged in that house and touched that woman, he would be going underneath the ringer. So I think he'll get off with a slap on the wrist, probably some fines, but I don't see him getting no jail time.
I'm
I
saying,
think
what
that's what's
law
going
did
to
he break?
happen. I think if he can make it a deal, just get get probation, a year probation, and everything else. Just lay low. The next 5 years, he'll resurface, coach at a Division II or Division I AA school. Hell, he might, like I said, he might as well should coach at an HBCU school and everything else just to try to rehabilitate himself.
There's nothing to rehabilitate. He didn't do anything. Oh, a lawyer said he barged in the home. They don't have proof he barged into anything. That's why there is no breaking and entering charge. They don't have nothing. He didn't commit any actual crime.
Roger,
That's the whole thing.
Roger, they literally charged him with those 3 things, bro.
They charged him. They have no evidence that he broke into the home. The only thing they said he did when he got to the home was talk crazy. I'm going to kill myself.
Well, we literally assuming
like I said, I don't think I agree, Roger. I don't think there's going to be any. Look, just because there's an initial charge, just because there's initial charge, don't mean there's going to be a formal indictment by a grand jury, and ultimately there's a trial. At this point, you're just trying to move things through the process of an investigation, and you might want to hold them, or at least hold them legally. Even if you don't hold them in jail, hold them in this position where legally he must respond to the court. So you'll hold him, so you'll charge him for that reason, but that don't necessarily mean that ultimately he'll be indicted and tried for any of it.
Yeah, and shout out to Mr. Donnie Mac. He said a charge is different than a conviction. And I totally understand that. He ain't convicted of nothing. They're not going to convict him of anything unless they can railroad him. He didn't do anything. The man went and talked to his chick. He was mad. He just lost his job. Reasonable. Now, what did he talk to his chick about? He talked to his chick about killing himself. No threat to her whatsoever. Left peacefully. Gave the police no problems at all.
Well, but here's the problem with the losing the job part. See, because it's one thing if the woman didn't work with him. If I lost my job and I could just go to my woman's house and I act a little erratically, but she didn't have anything to do with me losing my job, that's one thing. This woman is directly connected to him losing his job. So that will be viewed and interpreted, or you can make certain inferences from why he went there and his behavior when he got there, particularly towards her, given her role in him losing this $30 million job.
I mean, understandable. All I'm saying is it amounted to nothing. I get that he's upset and he gonna go over there to say something. Yeah, he may have text messages or something. Who knows? And did the text messages come outside of that day? That's my whole thing. So to say he's stalking her or something, no, you need more than a day to stalk somebody. You can't tell me I'm stalking you and I know where you live and I'm stalking you and I came to your house the same day that there's even a problem between us. That is not stalking a person.
No,
that's going to the house of a person who I know.
Roger, that's your opinion. But when it comes to the court of law, what does the law say about stalking? That's how they don't try somebody on Roger's opinion of an offense.
That's right.
But to stalk somebody, you have to show evidence that the person was pursuing someone for a period of time. This all happened the same day.
I don't know. I could look up stalking for you real quick, but I'm saying either way. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying you. I am saying you wrong, but I'm not saying I'm 100% right on this. But it all goes on how does the courts how do they categorize stalking? So you know what I mean. That's what we got to go by. We just talk.
I mean, you know what? Based on what you're saying, bro. Anytime there's a breakup, and one of the parties try to continue to pursue the other person, that could be deemed stalking.
Yeah.
I mean, literally after every breakup. So, you know, the standards got to be more than that.
No, but Uru, the deciding factor is, does the girl press charges or not? Does she go to the cops like, yo, look, Uru just keep texting me and keep texting me?
Well, but
we don't know how.
There's no way the law is going to pursue every instance of that, because the frequency of that is so, I mean, literally after every breakup, you'd be doing in Chicago, you'd be literally doing millions.
Your litigation will be crazy.
Cases, you know, every year. Some girl, he keep on calling me. He keep coming to my house because we broke up last week. Well, let me send the police after him. No, it's got to be more of a standard, a higher standard than that.
Well, the definition is harass without unwanted and obsessive attention.
Okay. I mean, that sounds fine, and we can't even say that we know that's true because, again, it happened in the same day.
Unwanted attention, it can happen in the same day. But at the end of the day, I just hope I don't think he's going to get no wild time. Man. I don't think he's going to get time because
I don't think he's going to get any time at all. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if all the charges are dropped.
Get thrown out. Thank you.
But I think he's going to, if I were him, you know, and his attorneys, I'm trying to maneuver behind the scenes to try to get the trustees to call off the dogs, because if Michigan backs off, the cops and the prosecutors are going to have to back off.
Yeah. Hey, so Michigan is pressing charges against him too?
Not that I know of. They're not supposed to. I mean, this was an outside.
What was that question? Repeat that question.
No, because Uru said if Michigan called the dogs off, so I'm like, is Michigan pressing charges against him also?
No. Listen to what I'm saying. If the board of trustees call the district attorney or state prosecutor, that shit gets pulled.
Right, okay,
I got you. Hey, let me ask you guys. I'm gonna ask Black Uru this question before I land my plan for today. What do you think? You think this brother can get a shot, coaching at HBCU the next 5-10 years when this whole thing is just gone and not unforgettable?
I mean, I think he could easily get an HBCU gig. He might even be able to get back in. Well, I don't know if Division One, but I think if he's able to launder, because he don't really have just getting fired and even the affair. He has what has been reported of his behavior, and that you got to sell to some potential employer, where this guy, like what happened with Jesse Jackson Jr., if you recall.
Yeah.
Got caught up in some stuff, some issues, some tax issues involving and some improprieties, maybe some woman or whatever, and he responded very badly to that being exposed.
Right.
And so when you respond very badly, it's one thing to do wrong. It's another thing to respond badly to getting caught and it get out. Because then now people got to justify, hiring you, given what they know of how you responded to the mistake you made or the discovery mistake you made.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I wanted to know and everything. It's because I think he will get he'll get a second chance and everything else if he starts off, coaching in the HBCU school and everything else.
But the proper question is, can he maintain himself at a HBCU? Because if he went off the rails with Little Booty Becky, what Lord knows what he might do over there with Free Coochie Keisha.
Well, and that's why if you do hire him, you're not even you're concerned about that, and then you're also concerned about his behavior on top of that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say he ain't got the 5-year drought. What he has going on his side is that he won. When you win in sports, a lot of stuff can be forgiven. That's just the way the sports world works. Winning can forgive.
He was the offensive coordinator of a team that won the national championship. That will be very compelling to a lot of schools, and not just HBCUs. But if I'm if I'm the athletic director or the board of trustees, I got to somehow clean up the shit that went down with you. And the easiest way to do that is for him to try to quietly work something out with Michigan so that this comes off the news.
Okay, then. All right, then, brothers. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
You too, brother. You too.
Hey, Roger. One thing. I want all the brothers to understand. Remember, the Celtics coach, Oduke, whatever his name was. Everybody was saying his career's over. He'll never coach again, and all of this stuff. And almost maybe 2 years later, was coaching the Rockets. So the same thing. This brother, if he's a good coach and he, shuts everything down right now, gets quiet, he can go. He might not be able to go back to college because you got that thing, but he might be able to go to pros. He may be able, the other places he can go to the UFL. I mean, if he's a good coach, he's a good coach, and he wins, he wins. That's the main point of the thing. He just got to get this stuff, get his name out of the news.
That's a very good example. And there's over 100.
We never saw Ume, get arrested and all this other bullshit.
Nah, Ume did. I'm gonna be honest with you. What Ume did was worse. He was messing with the owner's wife.
But
that's worse.
He handled it with class.
He handled it better. But there's over 100. There's over 120 Division I colleges. He can find a Division I college to coach at with a low profile and still win. And he can come back. He's young, bro. This dude is young. He'll be back.
That's why I don't think you could leave him around Sweet Coochie Keisha, because boy.
No, he don't even like them. So you ain't got to worry about him over there.
Sweet Coochie Keisha, she throwing that thing.
He got a white wife and he got a white mistress, so I don't think the color issue go be too much of a thing. But I mean, when it comes down to it, obviously the dude is willing to cooperate. With you know what I'm saying? With all the stuff I've seen, this dude ain't even trying to not cooperate. He's trying to cooperate with everything. So he's not problematic. The man just simply got upset that he lost his job. He went to the girl house because he lost his job. He's upset about the fact that he lost his job, and he can't even muster a threat toward her, even though he done lost his job. This guy's not a problem. There's nothing to worry about when it comes to him. You know, they just doing what they can do him because they can, because they made him pay $25,000, and they putting him on a GPS tether, they called it. So he ain't problematic at all. And they said this man ain't even had no contact with police in any way, and he's 39 years old. Now my thing is, how do you get away with that? I mean, you know, certain times, you know, you could get away with being alive 39 years and never having police contact. It can happen. You know, I ain't gonna say it happened to everybody, but it can. It is a possible thing. You know, especially doing that type of work.
The fact that they gave him an ankle bracelet is crazy though. So I'm wondering what was in the text messages.
They just trying to embarrass him. That's what's going on. They want to embarrass the man.
This
I'm
is
just
about
going off of what was presented. I need to see what's in the texts because that's different.
You got to understand that college football within itself, this university is an entity. It's like when Steve Spurrier was at the University of Florida. He had more power in the state than the governor did. It's almost like being an elected official, bro. So right now, Michigan is embarrassed and they're creating separation from him. That's all that's happening right now, bro.
But are they wrong to be separate? You know what I mean? I can't even look at them as being as wrong. Like we got to maintain his name.
They're doing damage control. They finna get sued by this girl.
Yeah,
they're doing damage control.
They're protecting their money.
They're
So they
making
had
sure
$30 million on the table for him, and now they can take that money back, some of that money back. So I think he only got paid probably less than $9 million. So the other $21 million they can put back in their pocket.
Yeah. There's something about I heard about something about like a $13 million buyout or something, which of course they're not gonna necessarily need to use because of the cause of this situation. Plus, because of how people have positioned things to go on in this society, you want to make sure the woman don't end up suing at the end of the day. You do not want her to sue. So the thing is, you'll probably just let her keep that $90K a year job she got. Now, keep in mind, according to the stuff I looked at, seemed like she got paid $58,000 one year and then got bumped to $90,000 the very next year. So dude was taking care of her at the end of the day. Because one of my first thought was, if you about to make all these million, why ain't you just throw it like $500 a week or something, just to keep her quiet or whatever. But once I found out he done got her way more money on the job, it's like, okay, wait. Financially, he done hooked up already. But now Michigan want to make sure that stay where it is. So, you know, so it don't turn into an issue. They gonna kind of have to do that.
That might be an investigation in itself. How she go from 51 to 90 something. But he would have saved money if he would have just went to Cicero. I'm gonna keep it pushing.
Well, you hear what I was thinking? I was thinking, man, if you getting that much bread, you just throw her like $500 a week and keep her quiet.
$500 what?
$500 a week.
Oh,
yeah. If you making millions, that ain't
no way.
$26K.
Nah, bro, you can't do that. You can't, bro. You cannot have a public contract of $30 million and throw your side chick $500 a week. No, bro. See, that's the problem now. Is he went the cheap route by getting Michigan to pay her instead of him paying her. See, when you marry and you got a mistress or a girlfriend, when you get elevated on your job, you need to elevate the women that's with you. That's a real thing. And brothers you're going to have to get used to that. When you elevate on your job, you got to elevate the women in your life. And when you get publicly elevated, they know you got $30 million coming to you over the next 4-5 years. You can't throw them pennies.
I mean,
you're asking for problems.
Yeah, $500 a week, Roger. That's
the go from 58 to 90. Plus, I throw you money. Santa, you know what I'm saying? He doing right by her, y'all. He doing right by her. It
Brother,
ain't like
I'm
he
telling you,
going out there.
that's cheap. Nope, that's cheap.
No, I'm not. I'm saying I'm not saying it ain't cheap. That was just like an instant thought to me. I'm not saying it ain't cheap. Yeah, it is. You know, when it comes down to it, because I'm talking about $26K a year. So yeah, that is very cheap. But what my thing was, you pay her to be quiet. But once I found out he already got her job bumped up, and then he had to get into where he was making the millions, which he ain't even finna touch that now. I mean, you got to relax at some point. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think he was going to necessarily do it wrong from a money standpoint, but at the end of the day, you're right. If the numbers are out there toward the public, people react to public numbers. It just is what it is. That's what people do, and you ain't gonna be able to keep her quiet unless you get her some reason based on what she believes. Because unfortunately, a lot of people say, "Oh, you made $30 million." They think you made the whole 30 million. They ain't gonna come into all the little stuff you got to pay out of that 30 million plus the taxes that go with it. They just looking at it. You about to get 30 million. You can give me 15. You know, they ain't gonna account for the fact that he got a family already and 3 kids, and he got to pay taxes, and he gonna have to pay a lot of other life expensive stuff at the end of the day. So you know, how much of that 30 million is he gonna actually see? You know, he may only see 15. He may only see 10. Who knows? You know, depending on what he got to spend. But I think he would have did right by her. My evidence is the fact that he bumped you up in 1 year from like 58 to 90K. I think he would have did right financially so she can be quiet. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know why she told anything. Black Rule make a good point. It could have been, maybe some residual feelings going over because maybe she wanted to keep the baby, and he was like, "No, let's not do that," or vice versa. Maybe she you never know with women in those type of situations. So and like I said, for him to fire her, which I don't necessarily believe that he's gonna just fire her. Because why would you fire a woman and you just got up from 58 to 90K? I don't think you fire that woman. I think you do move her in a different position. Now, maybe she was reluctant to go in some different position that he had for her. And like I said, the people who said that didn't come from a credible source. It was just people talking. I can't vouch for just random people talking. It was one of the best stories that we know of so far to justify why she would talk to Michigan. Because that's my thing. And maybe she was just dumb. A lot of women are stupid. Well, you about to get a big payday, or now she watching this dude about to get a big payday, and he could really kick into her, and she just got mad and stupid and just said something before he got to the money. Because as I was listening to all these different news reports, I think in that year he might have been getting like $500,000. So she might have just been an idiot. Women do stupid stuff all the time.
I think that they was because the clip you put up, they literally said that Michigan was already investigating this thing.
What you think Michigan gonna say? They gonna say, "Oh, we didn't know anything about this. We got blindsided."
No, I think Michigan pressed both of them, and she was the one that cracked. And them text messages was like, "Why? How the hell why would you do something like that?" And now he on the dime, so now he run over there, kick in the door, and talk about he gonna kill himself with a butter knife. I don't know how, but
No, but this is what I'm saying to you as far as what Michigan has options to say. They're supposed to say, "This guy been sleeping with this woman for 3 years. We didn't know anything about it until he broke in her house and tried to kill himself with a butter knife. And this is us just finding out about it." That's what they're supposed to say.
yeah, they be dead ass lying. But you right.
Yeah, so it's better for them to say, we was investigating and we just, it just wasn't super apparent yet. We was looking for the smoking gun, and we just got it. That's better than saying we don't know nothing about nothing, and that's much better than saying, well, we kind of knew what was going on, but we wanted him to recruit because he recruits so well. We wanted to let him finish this season out. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna say that. we trying to make sure we get a bowl game, we get another bowl championship, and we want to see what he can do. They ain't gonna say none of that type of stuff. So it's only so much they can say to also have their respect from a public scenario. Now, my thing is, because Michigan is Michigan, that might be why he may be buried alive in the legal system. Because to give him a bill at $25,000 sounds a little ridiculous. Because a lot of people were saying like this really just like a DV. This is some domestic violence stuff, if anything. Even though there was no actual violence, the violence would have been if he would have killed himself, which he didn't do. And I'm gonna say he was psychologically evaluated, and they said dude fine. And I believe him because he threatened to kill himself with a butter knife. You ain't gonna accidentally slit your throat with a butter knife. Now you may get her to panic in the moment, but we as men, we know you ain't finna slit nobody's throat with a butter knife. That ain't happening. So he was doing a little stuff for sure, and he's totally cooperating. So I don't think it'll be that long for him to get another job. I'll say that. I think he has the ability to get a job. Watch in 2-3 years, he might pop up. So he may not go instantly to head coach. Maybe go back to being an offensive coordinator, but job, I'm sure he'll get a job.
He gonna be fine in the courts because even if it ain't going to trial or nothing like that, because his defense attorney is gonna say, what man gonna grab a butter knife and threaten to kill himself? Make that make sense.
Well, I'm saying the whole thing should just be thrown out.
I agree.
Nothing on his record. Don't get him to plead to anything. He didn't actually do anything. He got mad that he got fired. He went to his chick crib. He got to his chick crib, didn't threaten her at all. Then he left. So now we gonna put him in the legal system because he left? That sounds crazy to me. And if a man can't be upset on the same day he lost the job, and I do get it. Yeah, she's a direct reason why he lost the job. But that sounds like, okay, I can understand him being upset with her. Now, if he would have went over there and touched her in some kind of way, that's a whole different spin. But he didn't touch that lady. He just left. Now, how do we want men to operate in a society? Yeah, you got fired. We understand you getting upset. You go to the house to confront the person you believe is the reason you got fired, and you walk away. Is that not what we want men to do in this society? That's my thing. Should he have touched her up? For everybody who say they want women to be safe, would you prefer he touched her up a little bit? Because the man didn't do nothing. So if doing nothing don't work, then now you're giving me the message he should have did something. That's what I'm gonna say. So if he get any charges from this, if anything goes on his records, that's telling me the next time a man's in a position like that, he should do something. Because if you're gonna get penalized anyway, ain't no point not going through it. That's the way I see it.
So he should just powerbomb.
I mean, in hindsight, and this is just hindsight, I mean, the smartest thing he could have done when he got fired was to contact his attorney and then just basically let them handle everything, including handling her. Because I think had he done that, he would have avoided a lot of this, this trumped up criminal stuff, and he might have better positioned himself for some possible recompense from that deal. Had he kept his image clean from a criminal standpoint, then it would just a dispute regarding his contract and his employment status with Michigan by adding that other stuff and the allegations regarding him, drawing weapons and that kind of stuff. He just kind of made it easier for his opponents. And I mean, and if you got, here's the thing, if you have, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, this guy's been a successful coach even before getting elevated to head coach. He's got to have a lot of money. When you have a lot of money, and if you get fired or something, nigga, call an attorney. That really should be the only thing you do. Don't call the bitch. Don't call the job. Call the attorney. You got the money. You got 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 for a retainer. Call an attorney. If there is a lesson that I can think of, that would be it. If you got the money, and this is the same thing with Jonathan Majors. Had he called an attorney immediately when that shit went down, some small hat attorney, we are in New York City, by the way, that whole thing would have got smooth over. We probably never even would have heard of it. When you got money and you get in trouble, call the attorney. Now, if you don't have money, obviously you kind of are operating on your own, resources and understanding about things. But when you got money, you don't. The thing with having money is you don't have to think. I don't have to think. I pay somebody who actually are professionally practiced in dealing with this kind of thing.
So you saying when you got money, act like you got money.
Exactly. So I mean, I'm still disappointed at how Jonathan Majors handled that whole incident. I'm still disappointed in him because of that.
Because black men don't really know how to have money. They don't know how.
They're not used to it.
We're talented, and we know how to create things that make money, but we don't know what we need to do with the money to protect ourselves.
Look, you call an attorney. That attorney went to college or whatever with the district attorney or the vice chair of the board of trustees at Michigan. Them folks talk to each other, and this shit get all kind of handled.
Yeah, your attorney gonna call the AD. Your attorney gonna call the AD directly. Come on, hey Ron, come on, let's have lunch, man. Come on, let's talk this over.
I mean, he probably could have even if he would have gotten fired, he probably could have worked something out where he got some part of that money. And Michigan would have been good with it because for them, their reputation is most important to them. So they'd have broke him off, 7 figures maybe.
Yeah, that's probably out the window at this point. And the thing is, as black men, we do got to learn to use money to our advantage. Because I know I was in a personal situation where I did just some driving issues, but my license is necessary for some of the stuff I do. I make money with that license. So I went and got one of their lawyers in their town and paid him $1,000 to make the problem just go away. You know what I'm saying? Now, I wanted to hire a black lawyer, but I was like, no, in this type of situation, it's better for me to just not show up, not even go into the courtroom. I ain't gonna even let you see me as black because my last name don't sound black. So I'm just gonna ride out with let the lawyer go there for me, do the whole thing. And now it was extra money, and I ended up paying $1,000 when I could have went a cheaper route. But I think I made the best.
If you have a lot of money, if you have a lot of money, you hire 2 attorneys. You hire your black attorney, and you hire the small hat attorney.
You see how many attorneys Puff Daddy
OJ
had?
was the perfect example. OJ was the perfect example of that. The purpose of the black attorney is different from that of the Jewish attorney. The purpose of the black attorney is this somebody you actually trust. The purpose of the small hat attorney is to do their small hat thing.
Uru, you see how many lawyers Puff Daddy had?
Yep.
Hey,
He had like 15.
You got that type of bread.
Yeah, so
no reason not to have them.
Well, Puff Daddy ain't never paid nobody, so he always had plenty of money.
Yeah, you're right.
He paid his lawyers, obviously.
He paid their ass.
He didn't have to pay anybody else, but he took care of the lawyers. Which was obviously a very smart move. To make sure his lawyers was always straight. But I mean, Black Cool makes a good point. If you come to that type of bread, why you not using it? That's what the money's for. You got to learn to protect yourself from the system and freedom. Hey, the cost of freedom is high sometimes. You can't just spend all your money up like that.
You don't wait till you get in trouble to spend money. You retain your lawyer, but you give your mistress a raise. Listen, baby, you ain't even got to show up to work no more. I got you. We gonna go find you a nice villa. Let you pick it out. I'm gonna go lease you a car. I'm gonna let you pick it out, and I'm gonna put you on a stipend. I'm gonna have you sign this contract, to make sure that you getting paid legally, and you're gonna be straight. You ain't got to show up to work no more.
Yeah, you work for me now. Yeah, I'm with you.
And then what you do is she don't show up to work for 3 days at Michigan. You terminate her employment through Michigan, but you paying her so much money she don't care. That's how you fire her.
Sheesh.
I mean, truth be told, with the type of bread he was about to come into, I'd have been like, yeah, you just work directly for me. You still gonna get that same 90K. Now you come to work when you want to come to work because you don't have to. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want you to show up on Michigan campus. I don't even want you to be a student.
He messed that up, and she about to get that head coach job.
See, it's just like paying a prostitute. You paying her to leave. It's the same thing with your mistress. You paying her so when you get ready to separate from that situation, she ain't got a leg to stand on.
Well, my thing is, if you're gonna do this stuff, you can't do it in a way where it's gonna harm your money. Because I'm one of them people that I just buy into. If she's attached to the job, just leave her alone.
Yes,
that's just the best way to go about it. You know what I'm saying? Because too many women have proven that they will find a way to create a problem for a brother. So if she's attached to the job, just don't worry about it, man. Just don't worry about it. And I'm not saying as a person who ain't never messed with nobody who's attached to the job. I've done it before in the past. I gave it up. Because why? Because I've seen way too many men fall over a woman who had some type of attachment to the job. I don't want to talk to you if you work there, if you're a subsidiary, whatever the case. I got to meet you in the streets, as they say. I got to meet you in the street. I don't want nobody attached to any employment at all. If I do something for a company and you work for that company, technically we don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not at that company, but I don't want to touch you either. I don't want nothing that's going to get back to the money. Plain and simple. And I think that's just something black men going to have to learn to take seriously. Him being 39, okay, he don't have an FBA background. He probably didn't really understand the OJ thing, obviously based on the statement that Compassion and Caddis pulled up. He don't get it. And I get it. OJ thing, what was that, 30 years ago at this point? He was 9. Okay, so he don't get it. He thought he was a person, obviously. He thought he was just a person And color don't matter. I'm just a person. To a certain degree, yeah, you are a person. Now, is he considered a nigga? Well, that depends on what kind of white person you talking to. Because with the fact that he's Trinidadian, he may not be viewed directly as a nigga. But even people who are from different places got to remember, you a nigga to proven otherwise too. They will treat you a little bit different when they know you're not an FBA person. Some of them will, but if they don't know it, they don't know it.
Yeah, but
And I'm just going.
those statements that Compassionate presented, the quotes from him suggest that he don't really have a quote black perspective, at least not one that we would necessarily agree with. He has a kind of colorness kind of thing, and maybe because he supposedly grew up in Kansas, people, non-black people, they can come over certain places. They're viewed differently by white people than those people. So they can go to a Kansas and they're the Trinidadian dude, and he's a big size man. He's a good looking dude. So big football player, so immediately he gets kind of put in a bubble. And he gets to run through all the little white girls and all that kind of thing because of that. And he gets to have a like I say, a bubble sort of life. And it skews your perspective about things, including and especially racial things. And so you don't really know as acutely as we would know how this stuff can play out if it goes badly. It's okay when it's going good and everybody's loving me and we are actually beating Ohio State. Everything's wonderful then. But when you lose to Ohio State, you don't make the tournament 2 years after Harbaugh's been gone. Folks start to get a little itchy. Maybe he's too young. Maybe we could have gotten, Saban to come out of retirement. Whatever. People be thinking. You put yourself in a situation where things can quickly go in a bad direction after being in what appear to be a good direction. Like I say, they must really like him. Because, again, this guy's 39 years old. He got promoted to interim head coach. Couldn't have been no more than about 36, 37 years old. That's a huge deal at the University of Michigan. Up to this point, this was a favored son. I'm telling you. He blew it.
Well, I mean, this is sports, and when you're winning, it matters. But when you're not winning, it definitely matters. And he gave too much room to people to rethink things. I'm gonna say that. But yeah, not beating Ohio State and not getting to a position to win championships, people start rethinking stuff. It just is what it is. Yeah, well, maybe we did make a mistake. Maybe we did put him in that position a little too early. Maybe he was a little too young. People do things like that, and maybe they are looking for a reason to get a different person in there at this particular point. All that can be very true, very much true. And this just, hey, look what just popped up. This is a good, clean way for us to do it, and we ain't even got to pay him out. He done justified all our moves at this point. That's why I say I can't really say nothing about Michigan, the university. They just doing what should be expected by most folks at this particular point in time. We got this.
Called the they filed. We called the attorney. That attorney would call the board trustees, whoever involved, I guess, making the decision. I don't know exactly how that would put it. Probably would have to be 8 above the 18. I don't know. And then those people are talking. They start working out how we going? Okay, he's got to go, given the particulars, but how do we do this in a way quietly? Maybe he lied and say, you know, I'm retiring because of my family issues, some bullshit like that. And they like I say, break him all 7 figures, and he signs an NDA, and he just kind of a couple of years later, like Champ was saying, a couple of years later, he popped up at a Division 1A or Division 2 as a head coach.
And I'm gonna say a lesson that black men need to learn from this: if you get fired, go home. That's where you go. If you get fired, you go home. You don't go nowhere else. You just go home, and you sit there a day or two if you need to think about what your situation actually is. Maybe you need to think. Okay, you know, some people gonna take it better than others, but go home.
But if you got money, first thing you do is call your attorney.
Absolutely.
If I got, you know, and I'm just saying, you know, throwing out figure, you know, sort of conceptually, if you got 6 figures in the bank and you get fired or lose a contract, the very first call you're supposed to make is to a retained attorney. No hesitation. Even before I go home, I'm talking about I'm making that call as I'm leaving the office, as they put me out of that office or that building. I'm making that call.
Yeah. And I'm just saying go home, because you can make bad decisions. Anybody can make a bad decision. So it's better to make a bad decision on your way home.
No, I agree. I mean, for all of us, the best thing to do is go home. I agree. I'm just saying, if you got money, you're a businessman, you got money, you know, here's the thing. Again, because you have money and you have the flexibility of having somebody much smarter about legal matters than you are, you don't know what that attorney may tell you. You don't know what that attorney may tell you to say on your way out the door, for example, or whatever sort of documentation you need to leave there with, for example. That's why you want to immediately talk to that legal counsel.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm not presenting what I'm saying is in contrast to what you say. I'm just saying, you know, your mind may not be exactly where it needs to be for the next day, 2 or 3. Is if you're gonna mess something up, it's better to make a mistake at home than it is out here in the world. Because no telling what you can do that can compile to your problems at that particular point. That's all I'm saying. So, you know, unless your attorney tell you to come to his office, just go home. Okay, it's better to figure out your next move when you at home. Plain simple.
You know, and this is also a lesson, or a, you know, one of the reasons why people have historically been hesitant to promote young people, young men, I'll just say, above a certain position when they are, I would say, especially under age 40. You know, that's, I guess, relevant given that this guy here is 39 years old. One of the reasons why they are hesitant to promote people to the executive level, or have historically been hesitant to promote people to the executive level before a certain age, is because you're less likely to know how to handle certain bad scenarios. You don't have the experience. You don't necessarily have the comportment, or how to respond. You're young and your testosterone levels are still pretty high, so there's a little more energy there going on inside of you. So that's part of the reason why people have historically been hesitant about promoting people above a certain level who are young. You know.
Yeah, and a bad reaction can create a life changing situation on top of whatever the bad news you already got. So, my thing is just go home, man. Maybe you need a day or two. I ain't saying everybody gonna need a day or two, but just go home. It's you gonna go to the. I mean, if you stop at fast food and get into it with the fast food people, that ain't good. You know, trying to go too many places, you mess around, be so upset. Now you're gonna ran the light, cause an accident. Just go to the house, man. It's gonna be all right. Just go to the house. You're just better off making decisions when you at home, and you gotta accept your world has now changed to a certain degree. Because usually anybody who's employed usually has one job that they're truly dependent upon. Because there's people with 2 and 3 jobs, but folks have one job that they're really dependent upon. Even a person working to a second or a third one, that's just extra income. But you're used to that main job. It's just better off for you to just go home, get your head together, And if you got a really, really good job where you're only working one, which means you got the money, so you ain't worried about working 2 and 3. Yeah, it's just better off to deal with it when you at home than trying to make decisions in the street. Because in the beginning, your contact with other people is not necessarily going to be the best. You got a legitimate reason to be upset. The same way he went and made contact with her. I'm not saying he did something crazy. I just understand he upset. He just lost his job. It just wasn't a good time to talk to her. I get where he's coming from.
Well,
But
let
to
me
make
tell
that
you,
move,
an attorney would have told him to never talk to her again.
exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, he called his
Because
attorney first.
she's an element in his termination. Again, if this was just some girlfriend, who had nothing at all to do with this, that's a whole different thing. Yeah, you go and you get emotional, cry, or whatever it is, however you might respond to the situation. But that's just a personal support thing for you. This woman was an actual element in or was essentially the cause of your termination. That's the very last person you want to confront or have an exchange to, because everything you do in encountering with that person can be used against you, and it obviously it was used against you.
And just like Black Guru was saying, a wise counsel, an attorney, or somebody who's an older guy who been through something, because there's older coaches, there's older Black coaches that been through the same situation. They could have guided him to look, all right, go on, like I say, go home, get yourself together. Let's come up with a story, that we can try to see if we can get some of this contract, $13 million buyout contract, and and we go on with that.
Yeah.
But like I say, by not
because one way he might have been able to spin this had he not had all that stuff, and if he had, because he might have been able to spin this in a way to suggest that Michigan has sanctioned that relationship. Because if they had been involved with each other for some duration of time, and it seemed quite apparent that they were, and there might have even been witnesses to such, a clever attorney would have been able to spin that in a way in which you guys have basically signed off on this. You authorized this. You attended a Christmas party with her last year at the Dean mansion. You could have taken things maybe in that direction had you not had done all this other stuff.
Yeah, some wise counseling would have got him straight a little bit. Somebody telling him, because he was saying life is over. Life ain't over. There's a whole bunch of coaches that have been through the same situation.
Right. And bro, you only 39 years old. There's plenty of life to live. This gonna be forgotten about a little bit. But you do have to have the wherewithal. I mean, yeah, if you got that type of money, you got to call your attorney, and everybody need to just go home. And if you have an issue with your wife, because this is a issue where a wife was involved, if your wife upset with you, just go to the hotel. The hotel you finna stay at the next 2 weeks till she'll let you back in, even talk. Just go to the hotel if it ain't the house. Okay, so if it's an issue with a wife, go to your brother's house, go to your cousin's house, go to your mama's house, whatever. but you don't need to be in the streets, and you need to stop making contact with people at that particular point, y'all. When you're upset, especially people can find out you're upset, whatever you get into is basically going to be your fault anyway, because they're going to use the fact that you was upset about this other thing against you anyway. So you might as well just go home, so you ain't even contacting people you don't need to contact. And you definitely shouldn't be contacting people involved in an incident like this, where you're contacting involved parties. Them the last people you need to talk to at that point. You know? So now, had he been on his phone in the car on the Bluetooth traveling home, this whole thing could have been avoided. You know?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but like I say, it's hard for me to put this on anyone but himself. I mean, the women gonna always try to maneuver themselves in such a way, you know. You gotta, you know, he got a big job, big status, a lot of money, you know, big guy, you know, head, you know, nigga on campus or whatever. So that was gonna draw attention from women. And in most cases, like I say, this kind of stuff goes down and everybody gets something out of it, so to speak. So it don't become any kind of thing.
Well, I mean, even in the courtroom, I think they mentioned the I mean that have been newscaster. Yeah, he's gonna go through some and publicly he get nailed to the cross. It just is what it is, y'all. He gonna take some abuse from the internet. That's gonna happen. So, you know, you may want to stay off the internet if you're in these positions too, at least for a little while, because he getting the business right now. Okay, he definitely get the business. I've definitely seen a lot of stuff come up with people just slamming on dudes. So he getting the business. You may need to stay off the internet for a little while, but you gotta remember what your position is when stuff like this come up, you know. And maybe he don't quite get it because he has that Trinidadian background, and you know the way you grow up can affect your viewpoints of how things really work. But you know,
Now, that Trinidadian background ain't gonna work, bro. You don't get to this kind of position in college football and not know the culture. No, that ain't gonna work. This ain't soccer. No.
well, you think he's just not getting this nigga wake up call? You think that's what this is for him?
This might be his first nigga wake up call, but believe me, that Trinidadian background, it was gone a long time ago before he started coaching at Michigan. I promise you.
And I'm gonna say shout out to J-Bo.
Up to this point, Kev, he's lived a charmed life. You know how we know he's lived a charmed life?
Oh.
This guy was promoted to head coach of the University of Michigan at 37 years old. I don't think you all really know what that means.
He thought he couldn't do no wrong. That's like God saying, "Come up here, my son, and sit by me."
He lived an especially charmed life, even for athletes, even for coaches. He lived a charmed life. You got brothers, man, who have been in college football 40 years, never get an opportunity to coach at Michigan.
Yeah,
never get an opportunity to coach at Michigan.
Yeah, and shout out to Jay Bones. He says, crash out over side chicks? Sup, Roger? Well, I'm definitely saying that's a bad look and a bad move. And she is the side chick. You do got to keep that in mind. This is not my actual wife, who I got to patch this thing up with, because now it's public. You know, real talk. I gotta patch this up for real, because she got 3 kids by me. So my thing is, his priority was a little out of touch at that particular moment, man. His priority was just out of touch, because I'm going to go home to my wife, because the news is now coming out that I'm cheating on her, and it's going to be extra embarrassing. It's going to be, and y'all know how women get. It's one thing to cheat. It's another thing to cheat on her and everybody know about it. That's a whole thing in itself. So I'm finna go home and if I was him, I'm finna go home and basically do a whole different type of honey-do list to make sure she all right. Because I'm about to lose it at this point. You know what I'm saying? And probably the last thing you need to be going to is going through a divorce when you just lost your job. That's probably not gonna work in your best favor at all. No.
Now I'm definitely pulling the black card when I get home. Baby, they lying on me just because I'm black.
Well, maybe his white wife would have took that a little different. You know, that's a possibility. That is a possibility. But white women don't like to be embarrassed. I will say that now. They definitely don't like to be embarrassed.
Well, and it's one thing to be the wife of the black guy who, like you say, he has this rapid rise in the profession, famous university, everywhere you go, you're the coach's wife. You're the wife of the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. Everywhere you go, people kissing your ass. It's a whole other thing when that dude falls from grace the way this guy did. So It's like, from a white woman perspective, if she does stay with him, boy, that's real love. Because the loss of not just money, but of status, and now he's this black guy with a rap sheet and mug shots. That's a dramatic drop.
Yeah, she out the wheel with her family. When she brought him home for Christmas, her daddy was like, "No, we ain't doing this." So she been thumbing her nose at her daddy for the past couple of years because he became the head coach at Michigan.
Right. She was talking crazy to her cousins and them. Well, y'all said he wasn't gonna be nothing. Look what he is now. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You peasants, okay? Y'all peasants.
Yes.
You thought it was gonna be nothing. Now he the head coach of Michigan, you peasant. Shout out to Jay Balls. He say, "Crazy, Roger. You already know on thin ice as a black coach." That's true. That is true. But it depends on how well you can skate sometimes.
No, these guys don't understand. This is Michigan. Nobody's on thin ice because they black. Everybody's on thin ice because it's Michigan.
Yep.
This is different. In the NFL, you're on thin ice because you're a black coach until you prove yourself. At Michigan, at Ohio State, at Alabama, at Cal, at USC, Florida State, nobody's on thin ice when they get that job. Nobody.
Now, I'm going to say, if you're not winning, though, don't be so brazen. Don't be so brazen when you're not winning. That's for sure. And I'm just saying, from a white wife perspective, yes, there's certain demons I'm sure she had to battle by dealing with this black man. Point blank period. Even though he may not have an FBA background, it still just ain't quite the same thing. So to go from this quote unquote God position of being a head coach at Michigan and all the status and the benefits that come with it, to just being that nigga who cheated. And not only is you that nigga who cheated, you love that B so much that you went over to her place. That's just not a good look. Y'all don't understand how that friend circle gonna do with that information. Girl, he loved her so much, he didn't even come home right away. He went to her. Well, even if he did come home right, because they said it was hours later. He went over there to see her the same night. I don't know what you're doing with him.
He getting a divorce. He ain't getting a divorce because he cheated. He getting a divorce because she got to apologize to her family.
Yeah, I don't look. I white women and black women are different. For that white woman, it's going to be loss of status. It's going to be now I'm bearing the full weight of being married to a black man versus being married to the head coach of Michigan. Being married, those are worlds apart.
That's right.
You know, and when you're the head coach of Michigan, you're colorless. You know, you don't really. I mean, you're above race, so to speak. When you are fired from Michigan and have been arrested and have a mugshot, you're a nigga.
Full nigga status.
You've been reduced to the nigga status.
Yeah.
Trinidadian or not.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Is the difference.
It's over.
Yeah. Once he got arrested, he didn't go from being the head coach of Michigan to a black man. He went from the head coach of Michigan to being a nigger. And,
Nigga, you need call the NAACP. It's over. It's over.
Like Vince caught in the dunk contest, it's over.
It's over.
Yeah. So if I mean, I doubt the white woman is all that concerned about the other woman. She probably already knew about what he was doing. A lot of times those women they either sanction sharing the men, or they just kind of accept that as a cost of doing business with men at a certain level. And as long as it doesn't become a sort of public embarrassment thing, it is just not as big a deal to them. You know, he's the big black man, BBC, all that good stuff, right? So, I mean, of course he's getting it on the side. It's not as big a deal to them. To them, it's much more business. It's much more socioeconomic, you know, than it is this sort of ego and jealousy. I mean, there's always going to be women with some jealousy, but white women are not going to prioritize their jealousy the same
over
way
position
that
they don't.
black women will.
Yeah, they prioritize the position you put them in over their jealousy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but her sister Rebecca gonna remind her of everything. Everything that she said snotty to them, because he was married to the head coach of Michigan. Every single thing, you know. Yeah, her sister Rebecca, her cousin Clarice.
Now it all depends on, but you know what? Even that can depend on what his relationship was to her family. You mentioned OJ earlier. Other than Nicole's sister, who had some dubious background, Nicole's family never really spoke very negatively about OJ. And I think part of the reason why they didn't was OJ was very generous to them. If I recall, he had gotten their father a what was it, the rental? He was it Hertz? He was affiliated with one of
he was affiliated with Hertz. Yeah.
And if I recall, he had gotten her father some Hertz, you know, franchises or whatever. So depending on how generous this guy might have been towards them and him and his wife, that might influence how they feel and respond to this situation. But yeah.
See, I don't know if he got to that really big money to buy them off yet.
Well, that's true too. You know, he might not have had it long enough time to. do a
Yeah,
lot.
I heard that he was only getting like a $500,000 in this last year, and then like the next year was supposed to shoot up. I don't know how
Yeah,
true it
it
is.
was he had gotten this interim deal, but I don't think it was much. And then I guess like last year, he got the they gave him a, or was it this year? Maybe it was earlier this year. He got the main deal. I look, and there also could be some part to this where they are suspicious of whether or not he will be able to take up Harbaugh's mantle. I think that there was some question about whether or not he's supposedly viewed to be a good recruiter, but that isn't necessarily the same thing as being a great coach.
Correct.
No, I'm gonna say shout out to the great pretender. He said he had the side chick he had the side chick friends with the wife and around the kids. Look, they may have had an understanding. That could very well be true. That they may have had an understanding, and that could have just been that. I'm not saying something about what that understanding that they had with each other. It's just different when the information comes out. It's come out on TV. Everybody's hearing this stuff. This is where white women start to get embarrassed, because it's not just about her inner circle. Ain't no more. This is 6 o'clock news. They're gonna mention this. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is gonna hear about this, and this is Michigan. It's one of the bigger things they have to talk about down there. It is what it is. It's just a big thing. The coach at Michigan doing anything is gonna hit the news. So you don't get to cover it up.
Yeah, Roger. They said he's supposed to be getting $5 million this year.
So you talking about the $5 million he's not gonna get, or
Yeah, he's not going to get any more. But that was supposed to be a $30 million contract, and he was supposed to get, like I say, that first year he was getting like a couple of $100,000, and then this year he was supposed to be starting to get $5 million.
You mean 2025 or 2026? When you say this year.
2026.
Damn.
Yeah, because I heard he was getting $500,000. That's what I heard he was getting.
That's why he went to a house. Did you mess this money up? What are you doing?
Yeah, you was living in a shack and you was about to buy a mansion, and then you mess it up right before you can sign the paperwork. That's rough. You know what I'm saying?
As you're changing tax brackets, you got to change the way that you do things. You can't do everything the same way you did when you was making $20 an hour as when you making $100 an hour. Then
Yeah,
when you go to
but this
$300.
is the problem with, I was saying earlier, when you had an accelerated rise, you learn those lessons over time and observation. And usually you get a few gray hairs along the way. I mean, again, this guy isn't even 40 years old. So a lot of that kind of stuff that you would have learned over some period of time, you've had it so good that you haven't had to maybe learn those lessons. And so you can go around, because again, it's one thing to be knocking down a few women on campus, but if everybody knows about it and you're kind of walking around where every time they see you, they see her, that kind of stuff, an older man kind of know better than that.
Yeah. Man, as men, it don't matter how much money we make. We all have our faults, and we're all idiots in our own little way.
Yeah.
We're all doing something stupid. We all are, and it doesn't change because we got money.
Many a woman has taken down many powerful men, so that's why men have to always protect themselves with the when you're dealing with these women, and keep your eyes open because you are a resource, and women are looking to get that resource.
It requires a great deal of discipline, and one of the worst things you can do is mess with a woman that you work with.
Yeah, and I think he's been sheltered, like you said. He from the islands, went to Kansas. He's
Man,
in a.
y'all
He
gonna
probably
stop.
hasn't been a. Yeah,
Y'all gonna
hasn't been
start with
around.
that Trinidad thing, man. This dude is the head coach of Michigan. You don't become the head coach of Michigan as a dude from Trinidad who's ignorant about life in America.
Well, he forgot something. He forgot to protect himself when you get in these situations. He let that happen to him. He let that girl
Well,
get a hold of.
one thing happened when I was talking about, getting things too fast or getting things faster than you normally would get things. Like we often talk about, often compare, Michael Jordan and LeBron James. And I think one of the differences between MJ and LeBron is MJ had much more of an apprenticeship at North Carolina.
Yes.
And then later under Bobby Knight during that 84 Olympics. Those
Right.
are maturing events. Having to defer to James Worthy. Who did LeBron ever had to defer to? MJ had to defer to James Worthy. MJ had to defer to Sam Perkins, Jimmy Black, Matt Doherty, not Brad Doherty, the white guy, Matt Doherty, and I'm contrasting them because I think that's the biggest difference. But, we have these debates. I think the biggest difference between Mike and LeBron is LeBron did not have that apprenticeship. And there are certain lessons he did not, in my view, did not learn earlier in his development as an athlete, and I dare say even as a man to some degree. And I would compare that to this gentleman here. When you've had an accelerated rise to a high position, you don't have that same scheduling of apprenticeship along the way to getting to that position. And then all of a sudden, like I say, you're 39 years old. Everywhere, you're 39 years old, 30 fucking 9 years old. And everywhere you go in the state of Michigan, people are kissing your ass.
Yeah,
That's going to probably fuck with your mind a little bit.
That's a hard life to live.
That's
life.
you're going to be walking around like, Mr. Big Pants. You know what I'm saying? That's going to affect your behavior, and including how you deal with women.
That's fair.
And that's why you can see him walking around with this woman, because I'm Mr. Big Pants.
I was gonna read it. Shout out to Jay Bones who said, "Who right? Goofy walking around with her in public." Yeah, and that's just not a good move to make.
That's basic player 101.
Number one, you is married, so come on.
Everybody know you married. People can see her basically dripping juicy coochie juices every time she around you. Everybody know what's happening because why you walking around with her?
I mean, one of the first things I did was just look up who is his wife. Boom, pops right up. Why did I know it was gonna pop right up? Because he's the head coach of Michigan.
Right.
It's not that much to figure out. Okay. So I don't know where his head was on that one. I ain't gonna even lie. The context clue should have let me know that this wasn't no FBA man. The context clue should have let me know that, because I don't think we not too quick to move in these ways. I'm not saying it can't happen to any of us, but Emma Udoka, that don't sound like a name.
Ime was he's a Nigerian. He ain't FBA either.
It just don't sound like the way. Okay, it don't sound like that. Like, it's only so far we gonna go with. Okay, now we humans too. I ain't saying you ain't gonna have one of us do it at some particular point in time, but yeah, it's just you got to limit this type of stuff to a certain degree. You got to limit it. if you're gonna do it, keep it to a minimum.
Well, here's the thing with an FBA guy is probably, no offense to non-FBA brothers, obviously we got love here in the Black Manosphere and especially Roger's channel. I think what FBA guys learn a little more than you guys is, we learn a little more game. We learn game with dealing with Black women, but we also learn game with dealing with white women because of our history. Now, I don't mean we don't screw up too. Obviously, many of us screw up, either arrogance or ignorance or, stupidity or whatever. So I'm not saying that, FBA makes you bulletproof from what this guy is going through. But you are going to be a little more cautious about certain things because you are going to be a little more rehearsed in the things that can and very likely under certain circumstances will go wrong. And so that's going to some degree, now there's some generational aspects to this as well. Some of these younger cats, I don't know what some of y'all on. So, I can't maybe vouch for anybody under maybe a young Gen X or whatever in terms of what some of you dudes are on. Or well, maybe I give some grace to millennials as well. Maybe some of the older millennials. But so there is some generational aspects to this as well.
Yeah.
But I think generally you're probably going to be more apt to be a little more cautious about certain things just because you just have heard your uncles and your fathers and whatever talk too much about what could go wrong under certain situations.
And the quicker you recognize it's going wrong, the better. And shout out to Landon. He said this was definitely not an FBA response. Now I'm gonna say this now. I don't think that it was. I don't think it was, but I am gonna say this: a lot of FBA men that came up without a daddy. So just give it a minute. just give it a minute. You may see FBA brothers doing the exact same thing. Just give it a minute because they ain't had no daddies around either. And I'm not saying Moore didn't have his dad around. I'm just saying his dad probably don't have a perspective as say my dad has. Okay. So for some of us, it ain't about they coming to get us. It's just about when they gonna get us because we already know they coming. Walking around in public with your non-wife, yeah, that's just not a good look. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think we promote that too much. We had this whole thing about we got to go on the other side of town, or we got to go into. You live in a city like me. We got, if we gonna be out in public, we gonna go to the suburbs. And then my thing is, as a general rule, why are we out in public anyway? We not a couple like this. We don't really need to do this public thing. We can go to your house or we can come to mine. However you want to do it. But we don't need to be out in public like this. Anybody can see me at any time. That's just the way the game goes.
Yeah, but see, when you're young, it's this big man on campus shit. Again, that's where being young, kind of factors in here. Because part of it does become about not only just, smashing, but being able to just kind of walk around and like I say, be the big dude on campus and everybody know it, but I got it like that. That's when you're younger, you're more likely to be predisposed to that kind of thinking and behavior. When you're older, you tend to you learn to be more quieter about what you're doing and who you're doing it with. And I mean, even you might pick a different kind of woman with a different kind of background. Sometimes it's better to pick a girl from a higher background. And the reason why it may be better to pick a girl from a higher background is because she got something to lose too with respect to her her social background and status.
Yeah. And y'all, I understand that FBA women, they see you with a woman, they get interested. right away. I get that. But there's another side where if you had everything, they get curious. So you got to pick your poison at the end of the day. Shout out to Trail Bentley. He says FBA granddad kept his family unknown until the two sides met at his funeral. Now, I'm gonna say that there's some wisdom in that, y'all. There's some wisdom in that. And shout out to Trail Bentley for the super chat and the Trail Bentley tax. Appreciate that, my brother. I mean, there is some wisdom in that. If you're gonna do it, what's the point in these two groups of people coming together and meeting each other? And if they got to meet each other, then they can do that after I'm already gone. That way I ain't got to deal with it at all. Real talk, So, that's why you would have these two different women with these two different families meeting up at the funeral. And you got to talk to them about who's the first wife versus who's the second wife. We gonna get y'all in here, but we can't have them two sitting next to each other. So you sit on this side, you sit on this side, and this was the first wife, so you're gonna have to come over here, and we'll put you in the second limo or whatever. You got to work all that out at the end of the day. But I'm gonna say discretion is not a terrible thing, y'all. It's not a terrible thing. I ain't got to prove nothing to none of y'all and tell y'all who I've been with. What I'm saying? At least the women around me know it ain't coming out. You ain't got to worry about it because I ain't telling nobody. Okay, a lot easier for them to do extra stuff too when they know you ain't telling nobody. And shout out to Jay Bones again. He said my first year at Notre Dame on one of the football players' FBA brother told me never hold hands with my snow bunny in public. I was very confused, but I understood 15 years later when he was looking out. I understood 15 years later he was looking out for me. And I'm gonna say shout out to Jay Bones and shout out to that brother who told you that, because I'm gonna say that's some pretty decent advice. You at Notre Dame, you got your little snow bunny. Y'all ain't got to hold hands in public. Y'all can do that when y'all get back to the dorm room. Real talk. Everybody, as men, sometimes we do let our egos get a little bit out of control. And I'm gonna say, y'all, there's positives and negatives to everything. So yeah, you can quote unquote show off your snow bunny if you want to. And then there's a lot of other positives for not showing off. So you got to pick your poison at the end of the day. Now, I wouldn't have did what this brother did. I'm married and I'm out here just in the streets with my sad piece. I don't know about all that, Now, I guess I don't have the perspective of being a head coach of Michigan. So maybe that would influence your son, but I just don't know if I would have ever made that move. And that's real talk,
I just don't want it to ever be said that we don't hold brothers accountable here at the Roger Report. Now I know when this thing first started off, Roger had a slightly different perspective, and he was gonna try to defend that brother a little bit, but we ain't have that up here.
No. I wasn't gonna defend him against Michigan. Man. My issue is him with the legal system, because I don't think legally he did anything.
But he legally in trouble because of what happened at Michigan.
My thing is, fire him. Fine. I ain't saying nothing about that man getting fired. My thing is, let's not drag him through the legal system like he actually committed some real crime. The man didn't do nothing. That's what I'm saying. Legally, he ain't did nothing.
Man, that man went over there and aggressively buttered his toast, man. That's what he did.
And all I'm saying is, how do we want men to act? He went over there, not necessarily the best idea. But when he get there, he threatened to hurt himself instead of her. Am I supposed to be mad at him because he threatened to hurt himself?
Listen, man. Listen, if you are married, and I ain't telling nobody to be cheating on their wife, but if you married and you got your mistress, and something happens that is going to affect the household, go home to your wife first. Talk to your mistress later. Can we establish that? Just go home to your wife first. You upset? Go home to your wife. Don't go to your mistress' house first. That's gonna start all the trouble. Your wife's supposed to know what's wrong first.
Yeah.
God.
And I'm gonna give him a little credit. He may have went home first because they did say it was hours later. So I don't know how many hours it was. I just know hours. That could be 2 or more. So maybe he did go home first, but he definitely should have been back over there that night. You know what I'm saying? And if he got kicked out, y'all know I can be sometimes the wife can kick you out the house a little bit, but you would just go because you know you're in the wrong, and of course he knows he's in the wrong. Not even saying that she didn't know about it. He's in the wrong for it turning into an issue where he got fired. He is wrong for that. Even if the wife letting him do it, you don't get fired behind it. You know what I'm saying? She don't like the idea of you being with another woman in the first place. She gonna like the idea of you being fired behind the other woman even less. Let's be realistic about it. So, you know, to go over to her house that night, I get it. He was upset. That's just a bad move all the way around. Real talk. Just a bad move all the way around. Just shouldn't have did that. You know. So yeah, we're gonna hold him accountable. I'm not changing my position, but I can hold him accountable. That was a great way to lose a great job. And I don't know why it just ain't that serious, man. Get you a white girl from somewhere else. Why you got to get one who worked for Michigan? And you know what? Some of y'all might be letting this feminism stuff mess y'all up a little bit. Y'all sitting there, yeah, well, I want her to have a job too. Bro, if you got it like that, she don't need no job.
No.
You know?
Not at all.
Let her live a dream. Let her live a dream that she can brag she with some guy. Now, can't nobody know who I am. But you know what I'm saying? But she getting job income. Okay? And it just be that. You know, I got a job. When he called me, I go have sex with him. That's my job. Okay? You know, if I go to his place, I clean it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That's my job. When he calls me to leave you bras right where y'all at, and I go go see him, that's my job. And my thing is, if you balling like that, you might as well do it that way. Okay? And I get it. Some of y'all gonna be in y'all ego and say, well, that means you a trick. I'm gonna ask y'all one question over and over again. Do you really believe my daddy didn't never have to spend no money on my mom? Do you really believe that? It happens with married couples too, y'all. It happens with married couples too. You know, your daddy probably spent some money on your mama, whoever you are. Okay? And if your daddy ain't never spent a dime on your mama, that's probably why you don't know who he is. Let's be realistic at some point. But Truth Teller did come up. I don't know if Truth Teller was coming for after the show or if Truth Teller's back to doing his old Truth Teller thing where he show up at 3 hours and 1 minute into the show when it's a 3-hour show. But it's Truth Teller, so you don't really know. So, Truth, what's up, my brother?
I was coming for Bible study, but nigga, you done reinvigorated the old me. And the old me is gonna castrate this dude because sometimes you got to know how to act like a nigga when it's necessary. I'm sorry. Listen, they already got me with her saying, yeah, we did. They gonna get me. I'm not gonna go and act like a little biatch when I go to her house, talk about I'm a threatening to hurt myself because I don't want you to say nothing. No, sometimes the nigga gotta kick in. I'm sorry. It is necessary sometimes, and this was necessary because he's going to jail. So at least you can start your jailhouse clout before you get there, so niggas ain't looking at you sideways when you get in. Now I don't know what's gonna happen to him in there. They gonna have to, I don't know, 23-hour lockup. I don't know what's gonna happen to the brother, but he lost his job, he lost his money, he lost his family, he lost his manhood. And when he get in there, he gonna lose even more of his manhood. I don't know what he was thinking, but good luck, brother. Good luck. Hope you sleep well.
Shout out to Jadeo real quick. He said, "You guys never been in love with a succubus side piece. That's why you are trying to logically work through this situation. It's a different world." That's all I have to say. Long live the habitual line stuff. Well, Jadeo, you are 100% correct on that one, brother. I guess falling in love with one of them is gonna be some kind of struggle. But Red Pill Sleeper said that came up. I don't know. Did you come up for Bible study? You came to get a word in before we get off air.
I'm here to get that good word. I'm off of work, so I'm about to engage with my boo that never turns on me, my PS5. So I'm gonna be playing my PS5 while getting a good word.
Hey, appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. Real talk. And you know what, y'all? If you get fired, just go play the PS5. Real talk. I mean, you ain't got to get into all this stuff. You ain't got to talk to her that night. I don't know, and I don't know what the home situation is. So maybe it was hours later because he got into it. The wife put him out for the night. You know what I'm saying? Man, go get you a hotel, get your PS5, do your thing. Look, baby, I'm gonna leave because I know I'm wrong, but I'm taking the PS5 with me, and you just leave. That's all you got to do sometime, man. But stop talking to folk you don't need to talk to. Okay, it's an upsetting situation. You need to be concerned that your wife is upset. And call it a day. And we about to close it out. Now here come Chaos. Chaos, are you trying to do Bible study or you up here trying to get a word in before the show ends?
All I gotta say is, black men, be good to yourself. Make that money, then walk away. Like Chris Rock said, you always plan your exit. And enough black men not doing this. This should be a fucking lesson. I mean, sorry. This should be a lesson learned.
Now I'm gonna say shout out to Landon. He's saying that boy Michigan bullied me. Well, I'm gonna say this, y'all. Hopefully, every charge is going to be dropped because I'm looking at the information that's available right now. I'm saying he didn't do anything. He went to his mistress' home. Yeah, he got upset. He threatened to kill himself with a butter knife. The man wasn't trying to hurt nobody. He didn't destroy no property. He didn't put his hands on her. He didn't do anything illegal. That's what I'm saying. Based on the information I heard, I don't understand where anything illegal happened. So I'm saying leave it alone. I get to protect it. We got to protect Michigan University at this point. Drop the charges and let it go. Real talk. He done had to pay $25,000 and he got to put on a little ankle monitor so they can GPS him wherever he is. And I'm thinking the reason they GPSing him, maybe it's the same thing and I don't know it, but I'm thinking, yeah, he may not have a home to go to right now. Maybe him and the wife ain't so good, which is kind of understandable at this particular point. It's kind of understandable. So maybe him and the wife ain't really good. So therefore, he got to put it on GPS because he got to go find a new place to live, at least for the moment. You know, get a little hotel or something, you know, and you don't want to spend too crazy because you did get fired. You know, you might have a little money on you, but you did get fired. Don't want to spend too much, but don't want to spend too little either. So it's quite a conundrum.
He ain't got no money. He living check to check. He got a wife and a mistress and 3 kids. He ain't got no money.
You living check to check?
I'm gonna close it out on that note and say you got an extremely good point right there. 3 kids, a wife, and a mistress. Yeah, I don't know if he got anything saved up, y'all. I don't know. Yeah. You know, he probably was betting on that new income. He probably was betting on that new income on some real talk.
He on Indeed right now, filling out applications for Jackson State.
Jackson State, damn.
All right, so I'm gonna cut up out of here, man. It's been a good one. It's been a good one. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. Everybody hit that like button, and we do this at 9 a.m. Chicago time. Not where you are. 9 a.m. Chicago time. Long live the habitual line steppers. This dude broke, I'm sure. I'm Roger. I'm right, and I'm out.